Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Thomas Cedar Lake Utility Board public meeting for November 2024. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The meeting is called to order at 8:36 p.m. Roll call, please. I'm sorry, 6:36 p.m. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan.
Here.
Julie Rivera. Here. Chuck Becker.
Here.
Greg Parker.
Here.
Mary Joan Dixon.
Here.
Richard Field.
Here.
Nick Recupero.
Here.
I am present. Jeff Bungie.
Present.
David Austin.
Present. Thank you. New business number 1, approval of the minutes from October 1st, 2024.
Mr. President, if I could, that's actually a typo. It should be minutes from October 15th, 2024.
Okay, thank you. The minutes from October 15th, 2024. Do we have a motion to accept and waive the reading of the minutes?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Parker, seconded by Ms. Dixon, to accept and waive the reading of the minutes from October 15th. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan.
Yes.
Julie Rivera.
Yes.
Chuck Becker.
Yes.
Greg Parker.
Yes.
Mary Joan Dixon.
Yes.
Richard Field.
Yes.
Nick Recupero.
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 2, needs pay request, number 8, for Crystal Oaks elevated water tank to Dixon in the amount of $1,150. Neil, good evening.
Good evening to you all.
Yeah.
This is for Dixon Engineering for the elevated water tank at Crystal Oaks. This is a routine inspection as part of the final punch list review, and that's in the amount of $1,150. There is some additional work scheduled as part of the results of this inspection to be performed by the contractor, and there will be a follow-up inspection based on this report that you have in front of you for the contractor to complete their work and then do the final inspections.
And what was the inspection?
It was for the coating, for the valve, for the overflow, and then just general grouting and the condition of the tank, not only on the base, but including the areas up along the inspection areas to the top of the tank, and those areas that included the hatch as well.
And I know they're not doing it, but we indicated to the public that we were going to put trees in. Is that still going in the working of proceeding with that? Are we doing that in-house?
Yes, yeah, that's going to be something that we need to come up with a decision of what we want to do, but it hasn't, we're not currently working on it, but we did intend on doing that after this project was completed.
I just don't want us to lose that was something we had told the residents out there we were going to do. I don't want it to get lost in the shuffle.
Very good, Bob. Thank you. If there's no other discussion, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Becker to approve needs pay request number 8 for Crystal Oaks elevated water tank to Dixon in the amount of $1,150. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan.
Yes.
Julie Rivera.
Yes.
Chuck Becker.
Yes.
Greg Parker.
Yes.
Mary Joan Dixon.
Yes.
Richard Field.
Yes.
Nick Recupero.
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 3, current water capacity needs planning discussion. Anything to add?
Do we want to say anything?
Well, Rich and I have been on the horn for a little bit, a little while about potential well site in town, kind of revisiting it, but we've had some ideas over the past week about maybe giving some direction at some point really soon to engineers to start vetting some sites.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact date when you and I were on the phone with Kevin and Don from Christopher Burke, but we did have some initial discussions as possible ideas.
Yeah.
Can you relinquish what some of that is, or?
Well, my ideas of how this process could possibly work, and I'm open to any suggestions, but that we kind of get a handful of sites picked out. There's been ones floated. We've talked about them. And then, Rich and I agreed that since we've had that meeting with IDEM in September, that they should be involved with helping us to pick sites too, because we're not gonna get any approvals without them.
I mean, part of-
Front side,
Yeah.
forgiveness.
Yeah, part of the, meeting when me and Greg were down there at IDEM was the question on where some of the wells were drilled, as far as location and why. And that's why when I talked with Nick the other day about it, that, when we do get, everything back from Christopher Burke as far as what they think and stuff like that, then reach out to IDEM, kind of do our due diligence ahead of it, and then get them involved as far as what their opinion is on best placement for it.
There was also discussion about potential wells that were drilled that didn't have permits. Do we know of?
These would all be permittable.
Yeah,
They have to be
do we
permitted.
know of the people that drilled wells that didn't get permits, or is that just a rumor?
No, none of those wells were permitted and none of them were put in viable sites. That's from IDEM.
Yeah. I think that ball's kinda in their court now, isn't it, after we had the meeting?
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
that's gonna be public information at some point, really pretty soon. There's review and engineering assessment of all this going on. And it was the first thing we said in the communication to IDEM about a week or 10 days ago, or thereabouts, that, the engineers were working on comprehensive planning and studying the, turf in the area and hydrology and all of that. So that's coming, and it will be here in public, because it is public record.
Thank you, Dave.
And then another thing, in water utility, in Christopher B. Burke's report, it indicates that we've received preliminary approval to bring the water from the lighthouse well to the police and fire, but I don't believe that's a final. And it's my understanding when it is final, then we'll have a 45-day waiting period before we can actually do that.
That sounds right. Is that right, Tim?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that your understanding too, Neil?
Yeah, from speaking with Tim, it is.
Very good. Well, we'll continue to keep the public updated. We will move on to number 4, written report, fund report, clerk treasurer, Ms. Sandberg.
Cash and expenditure reports were previously sent out to you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions for Jen? Okay, we'll move on to number 5, consultants and staff reports, engineer, Neese. Again, Neil.
We have, project 1 of the West Side Sanitary Sewer Interceptor is substantially complete. We are waiting on the final, as-built record drawing documents from the contractor that we can provide to staff for their long-term, review and for the ability that going forward, anyone that wants to connect to it will have that available for the location of all the manholes, rims, inverts. And once we get that, we'll approve the final pay request for that contractor and file our closeout documents with IDEM consistent with our permit.
Very good.
And then West Side Project 2, as we discussed prior, is essentially complete in terms of design. And working with Dave's office and town staff prior, all the easements are acquired. And then looking forward at Project 3, we have a concept route, but no further information in terms of that going forward on full design. But we do have items submitted at the March 19th, I believe, was of earlier this year, of projected costs for routing 3A and 3B.
And project 2, any estimated time of when that might start?
That would be completely dependent on the policymakers, which is this board, to determine when to go forward with that. We'd be looking for approximately 30 to 45 days to complete the plans and set bid dates, and then submit the documents to IDEM for the construction permit application within probably 45 days subsequent to that. And then we'd be looking to probably bid the project, advertise it with town staff, with Jen and Dave, to make sure the dates work in terms of state statutes. So more than likely between 100 and 120 days from whenever this board does decide to move forward, that you could do bid opening. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. And we're gonna get into that a little bit more here in 6 as well.
Sure.
Did you have something?
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering if we were gonna discuss what,
Yeah, we'll get to that in 6. Okay, any water updates, Neil?
No, other than item 2 for Crystal Oaks, which is proceeding on punch list items.
All right,
And then close out with the SRF with Jen and Sue, which we appreciate their help.
okay. Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.
Mhm. B, Director of Operations, Mr. Kubiak.
We did hear back, or Don heard back from IDEM today about the permit for the upgrades at Robin's Nest Pump House. He had about 5 things. He requested a couple drawings, some pump information, kind of standard list of questions, I guess. So hopefully with, these being answered, that we should be edging closer to actually getting the permit, so.
Very good.
They're working on getting the answers to them now, so hopefully, we can hear something. And again, I think once that has a definite, waiting point also, which I think might have only been 10 days after you received the okay to schedule that to get put in, so.
And then after that's put in, then you can, pursuant water tower.
Correct.
Okay. Anything else for us, Tim?
No, nothing.
All right, thank you. C, Town Attorney, Attorney Austin.
No reports, you know what I'm doing, working with you on various drafting.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Number 6, update and discussion, West Side Sewer Interceptor Phase 2. You're gonna come in again on this, Neil, and we might need Sue for this briefly. So, Sue and I spoke over the phone over the past week. Sue, are you there?
Yes, I
Hey.
am.
Hey, good evening, Sue. So,
Hi.
Jeff had brought this back up to the surface here recently with us about getting this thing moving along. And Neil's been saying for quite a while, just looking for direction, right? So,
As you see that.
yeah. So, Sue, I told you about this week, and, funding had been brought up, and there's several avenues. But I guess the big question is are we ready to move forward on this, and we have some options here with funding?
Yeah, we do have options on funding, and it depends on, when we're going to do it. Keep in mind, you're a regulated utility, and any permanent funding, which is in excess of 12 months, we have to have approved from the IURC. And that, Corby, if I'm wrong, correct me, but that is regular filing, so it's not going to happen overnight or within 30 days.
Sue,
But, I'm sorry, go ahead.
we're discussing Phase 2 of the West Side Sanitary Sewer Interceptor, not water right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. When she mentioned regulated, it just went right over my head with the... Okay, sorry, Sue.
Sorry, yeah.
Thanks,
No,
Jen.
there's a lot of solutions, and it's just we have to, as far as financing goes, because we do have the reimbursement resolution in place for Phase 1, what we would do is we would do a long-term debt on the cost on Phase 1, Project 1, and then that would give us additional funds for Phase 2. The whole thing is you could use what your improvement and your system development charge funds are at now, but then that zeroes you out, and that always worries me. Right now, because we don't know what 2025 will bring.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, we need to know if you're going to go forward with it, and then do we want to use what we had in place as far as the reimbursement resolution, or do we want to outright finance Phase 2, or do we want to use as much cash on hand as we can?
Okay. Thank you, Sue. Neil, from an engineering standpoint, and bidding out, we've had these discussions about when's the right time to do this to maybe get the best deal for the town. How soon is that window closing?
This time of year is us.
as soon as possible.
Yeah,
This is, generally, if you can get your item permit secured in late summer, early fall, get the project bid out in late fall to into the winter, and then open around the first of the year, that's generally the ideal time, because a lot of contractors that are looking for work to fill their books for the subsequent year, you know, it's supply and demand. Obviously, there's fixed costs in terms of labor, which is not really variable, materials that are not, but when they're looking to fill those books up for the subsequent year, now is the time.
okay. Are you comfortable with us doing some more homework on this and having this placed on the December utility board agenda for action?
I have absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. Ultimately, the 7 of you are, you know, responsible to your ratepayers and taxpayers, and there's no pressure in any way whatsoever to move this forward or hold it back. It's simply to, you know, meet what your needs are as a board.
Okay.
The only thing, it seems like the sooner we get it moving, the better we'll have an opportunity to have the thing put on somebody's agenda for 2025.
Yeah.
Get the permits lined up.
Yeah.
That's absolutely the right thing to do.
There is one thing, you know, to follow up on what Bob said, is where our engineering budget is at for Project 2, we still have funds available to complete the design work and apply for the item permit.
Okay.
And that permit, once approved and submitted back to the town, is good for 1 year.
Okay.
And we can extend that permit within 10 months from when it's issued to extend it for an additional year. So there are things you can do that won't necessarily impact any schedules in terms of what you guys are looking at funding to get the project moving towards bid without getting it out to bid. So you have a couple options.
I'll wait till December meeting, or?
Yeah, if Neil, if you're okay with that, and then we've got this dialogue started, if we can get some of our pieces together, and Sue and Corby has to get involved, Jennifer, whomever, to figure out what our paths forward will be, what options we have for funding.
Now, with what Neil just said, though, does that mean we can still instruct Neil or take action to have him start his stuff for the bidding while we do that for another month? I'm just trying to understand that.
That's essentially correct. We can move forward with completing the boilerplate portions of the bid documents and the plans and submit the permit to item for their review, which they've been very responsive over the past 12 to 18 months versus what they were several years ago. It sometimes would take 6 months on a high end for review. They're in the general range of 6 weeks now. So those considerations could move forward without necessarily having funding in place or decided by you as a board.
Now, would that be an action, Dave, or just instruction to Neil to continue?
No, that'd be an action you should take
Okay.
here in the public meeting.
So we've got this as update and discussion. It would be appropriate to go ahead and a motion could be made on this.
To direct Neil to proceed with specs for bidding.
And submission of the item permit.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
May I suggest, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Greg. May I suggest you add to any motion that you task the financial people here in town with all of the strategy options for financing?
Okay.
All of them.
What was that last part, Dave?
All of them.
All of them?
All of them.
I'm going to make a motion for Neil to start the plan and start with the item permit.
Finalizing the contract documents to
Finalizing
be prepared for bidding.
Finalizing contract documents for bidding and
Task your financial people with
ask the financial people to
all options
pursue all options for funding.
for report.
I'll second that.
Okay, see if I can remember, if I wrote fast enough. A motion was made by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Teal, to instruct Neil with Nice to start planning for west side, or continue planning for west side sewer interceptor phase 2, IDEM permitting, finalizing contract documents for bidding, and tasking our financial folks with getting us all strategies and options for funding. Did I miss anything? Are you clear with your direction, Neil?
I am,
Okay.
Sooner rather than later.
absolutely.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. All right, thank you, Neil, thank you, Sue, thank you, Corby. We'll move on to number 2, Lake County JICA for East Side Water Development, $650,000. Jennifer refreshed my memory, Julie, that you had brought this up in one of the last meetings about, what we're gonna do with the remaining funds.
Yes, and I thought that, Jennifer, did you have your suggestions? The remaining funds?
It's not really suggestions from me. You guys had already prior discussed with Mr. Kubiak, because this is the fund being utilized to pay for improvements and upgrades at Robin's Nest. Off the top of my head, I don't know what that total number is. I've heard that some equipment has started to come in,
Yep.
but I haven't actually received an itemized invoice yet to process. And then I believe there will be some smaller electrical work and things that'll have to
There was
follow in.
electrical work, the installation, the actual equipment,
Okay.
Is it in excess of 650,000?
no. But it put a good dent in it. I mean, we were at the, I wanna say like at the 400 range.
It's not a bad position to be in, to have this extra money.
Right.
No, but
You
this,
said.
specifically this JICA with Lake County was for east side, so whatever your guys' plans are for the east side, then you'd utilize the remainder of that money.
Is there a deadline on when we've got to spend this?
As far as I'm aware, the JICA did not spell out a deadline. Whatever
Right.
counties' related deadlines are, I do not believe that's a deadline on us, because the JICA did not stipulate a deadline.
And our plans for the rest of the money was for WPM,
Mhm.
new well house, so that was gonna use up the balance, that was whatever we.
So you got plans for the entire 650,000?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sure.
That'll work.
Yes, at this point, though, Robin's Nest is what has been officially approved.
Okay. Very good. Number 7, J-Mob report, Ms. Dixon, Mr. Teal.
We got confirmation today that next J-Mob meeting will be December 19th at 6 PM in Lowell.
Okay. All right, thank you.
What day of the week is that?
I believe it's a Wednesday or Thursday.
It's a Thursday because you guys meet on the
Thursday.
Thursday.
What time?
6 PM.
PM.
Thank you.
All right, Thursday, December 19th, 6 PM in Lowell, J-Mob meeting. Thank you. We will open the floor now to public comment for the utility board.
So you did take that far.
Public comment for the utility board. Yes, sir. Name and address for the record.
Jerry Wilkening, 10826 West 131st Avenue. Just to be clear, we have no direction from IDEM regarding West Side Water, other than you have a water problem.
We got direction when we were in Indianapolis, that's why the utility master plan is being worked on right now.
Okay, but we don't have a plan. There's no existing plan right now being worked on.
Yes.
Okay, all right. That's all I want to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Mr. President, so it's clear, yes, in the context of the comprehensive plan being worked on, developed, and ready for your consideration.
That suffice, Jerry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing exists right now, that's my question.
And who is working on that plan?
Your engineers at Burke.
Christopher B. Burke.
Correct.
Okay.
It isn't
Where is
Christopher
that?
B.
Chicken and the egg.
Yeah.
Engineers at the Burke firm. Oliphant Stadium.
All right. Last call for public comment for the utility board. Anybody online that would like to speak, Jennifer?
No hands are raised.
No? Okay. Public comments now closed for utility board. Our next meeting will be on December 17th, Tuesday, 2024, at 6 p.m. Keep in mind, this is a special time, 6 instead of 6:30. Our special consolidated meeting will start here in a couple minutes. Meeting's adjourned at 7 p.m.
All right, I'd like to call this redevelopment commission, town council, and plan commission special consolidated meeting to order at 7:04. We're going to forego the Pledge of Allegiance, but if we could please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. Can I get a roll call, please? Oh, sorry.
Okay, we're gonna start with redevelopment commission. Robert Carnahan?
Here.
Nick Recupero?
Here.
Greg Parker?
Here.
Mary Joan Dixon? Here. Julia Rivera? Here. Chuck Becker?
Here.
Richard Field.
Here.
Plan commission members, Chuck Becker?
Here.
Greg Parker?
Here.
Robert Carnahan?
Here.
James Hunley?
Here.
Heather Dessauer? Present. Jerry Wilkening?
Here.
John Capora.
Present.
Town council members, Robert Carnahan,
Here.
Julie Rivera,
Still here.
Chuck Becker,
Here.
Mary Jo Dixon,
Here.
Richard Field,
Here.
Greg Parker,
Still here.
Nick Recupero.
Here.
I myself am present, Mr. Bungie,
Present.
and Mr. Austin.
Present.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll ask for public comment on agenda items only. Any public comment on agenda items? Last call. All right, moving on to new business, redevelopment commission actions. Now, Dave, you did say that we wanted to handle this discussion all at once, or?
Well, you can, and then take separate actions on the backside of the discussion and input by each of the three bodies.
Okay, would you like us to go through a brief description on them all then, and then do the readings individually, or read them all right now?
You can do it either way.
I think we'll do them individually, but discuss it all as one?
There you go.
Okay. All right, on item, well, Dave, if you want to start out then?
This is a rather simple process, but there are a lot of moving parts. The moving parts are required by Indiana code. You are here for the consideration of adoption process of adding a TIF district parcel to your current and existing 133rd and Consolidated TIF district. If you'll recall, we have long-established TIF district, 133rd started it. The matter with the parcel was consolidated when the project, the Hen project came in and the Baltimore project came into the town. They were parcels that were deemed appropriate for, under, again, the Indiana code, for being considered as TIF district parcels. What that means is that an allocation area would be established by enabling resolutions of the Town Council, Plan Commission, Redevelopment Commission, and ultimately back to the Redevelopment Commission. What that also means is that tax assessed value would be made and reported to the parcels petitioned for. Now what that means is really simple. The ground as it is, or the property with the improvements that are on it right now, are base assessed value of property. So there's a vacant piece of land and it is subject of these proceedings. There's already and presently imposed property taxes based upon valuation established by county government, state government. The parcels then, when they go through the process of being added to the TIF district or made into an allocation area in the TIF district, the parcels retain their valuation until, or unless, it's actually until, improvements are made that increase the base assessed value. So a vacant piece of land comes into the TIF district as planned, and by the way, there's a legal description appended to this documentation that identifies what you're doing tonight. When that parcel is developed, improved, and taxed at increased assessed value valuation, the difference between empty land, vacant, unimproved, undeveloped, and fully developed land is the TIF, tax increment financing property. That's the parcel information that you need to know about what the process here is about. So the parcel here tonight, subject to these proceedings and dragging everybody in, thank you, by the way. It's mechanical, but it's important. These properties, or this property is about to be developed. It is part of a parcel, it's butting a parcel north that was brought in when the aforementioned Hen and Baltimore parcels became part of the TIF district, the Consolidated TIF district, and it is the intention that the increment be captured for purposes of the development activities in this corridor. Your comprehensive plan talks about this. your planning that brought the TIF district, the consolidated TIF district to this place, talks about this. And it's been long planned that as development occurs into the South Route 41 corridor, that this be the consequence of how taxation is handled and collection of revenue. The specific parcel is the safe storage property that was the subject of proceedings before our Plan Commission over the past couple of months, yielding and resulting in the last month, approval of one lot subdivision, site plan, and I think there was a variance. The parcel is suited for what we're talking about, and part of the justification, in addition to what the tax impact statement will provide ultimately, is that funding revenue will be available as the South 41 corridor develops. Please also remember, and these pieces are starting to come together, they do over time, usually takes years, but there will be improvements on Route 41 soon. You also have had long stated concerns from residents in the nearby area of storm drainage problems, issues, items to address that relate to road improvements and the expansion of the town's commercial district, industrial district in that path south. So everything about capturing increment here is good because you'll need money to take care of those problems and ultimately maintain them thereafter. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Just for clarification, you mentioned developers' names, but this is bringing safe storage in with Lakeview, which is on US 41, and Railside on 141st with 133rd,
Yes,
correct?
I do.
Just for correction, store safe.
Yeah.
Store safe. Yeah, thank you, Chuck.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right, then item 1, RDC resolution number 2024-03-RDC, a resolution of the Redevelopment Commission approving amendments to the declaratory resolution and Consolidated Economic Development Plan for Cedar Lake 133rd Avenue. Mr. Becker, would you please read resolution number 2024-03?
Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, Redevelopment Commission, Resolution Number 2024-03 RDC, resolution of the Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana Redevelopment Commission approving amendments to the resolution and Consolidated Economic Development Plan for the Consolidated Cedar Lake 133rd Avenue Economic Development Area, and all matters related to thereto.
Thank you. If there's no further questions, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Ms. Rivera, second by Ms. Dixon. Can I get a roll call?
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Richard Kuhn?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Moving on to Plan Commission. Now, Dave, is this something that John will have to do, or should I?
Yes.
Okay.
John, you get the gavel. It's all right, we're okay.
Musical chairs.
Okay, so we're here to
May I suggest have someone read the resolution by title only?
okay, Mr. Becker do that?
That would be Jerry technically, but
Do you have it on there, or do you need it from here, Gary?
I don't think it's on.
I don't know what's here.
If that's the agenda, you may not have it.
We can just turn one of these around.
Here.
Just make sure you give me this, please.
I wasn't briefed on this.
Crash course, John.
Title only.
You've never done it before.
Resolution 2024-02-PC, resolution of the Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, Plan Commission approving a resolution of the Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana Redevelopment Commission, approving amendments to the declaratory resolution and the Consolidated Economic Development Plan for the Consolidated Cedar Lake 133rd Avenue Economic Development Area, and taking all other actions related thereto.
Okay, do we have any discussion on that? Now I'll entertain a motion. Yes.
I think all the suggested TIF areas, great idea. That's it.
Okay, if no other discussion, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Who said so moved? Very good. That motion by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Wolfeney. Roll call, please.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
James Hunley?
Yes.
Heather Duffbauer? Yes. Jerry Wilkeny?
Yes.
John Kippur?
Yes, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Johnny, John.
Okay. We got one more, John. You guys can just be, yeah, good job. Okay, this will be town council action. Town council resolution number 1362, a resolution approving an order of the plan commission, approving a resolution of the redevelopment commission, approving amendments to the declaratory resolution and consolidated economic development plan for Cedar Lake 133rd Avenue. Mr. Parker, by title only, please.
Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, resolution number 1362. A resolution of the town council of the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, approving an order of the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, Plan Commission approving a resolution of the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana Redevelopment Commission, approving amendments to the declaratory plan for the Consolidated Cedar Lake 133rd Avenue Economic Development Area and taken other actions related thereto.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a motion to approve resolution number 1362?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Teal, seconded by Mr. Becker to approve town council resolution number 1362. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seals?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupido?
Yes, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you, everybody. Moving on to public comment for this consolidated meeting. Any public comment? Third time?
I just have a question.
Okay.
The map,
Name and address, please, Gail.
7014 West 139th Place. On the exhibit, on the packet that went out, it's not legible, and I can't read what the blue area is on this. I couldn't read the, that was a TIF district. What is the blue area? At the legend down below, what is the description on the area?
It should say added, I don't mean to interrupt, Rich, but I don't know if you can see on yours, but
I'm trying to zoom in.
it's added TIF parcel scale.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any more public comment on this? All right, seeing none, this meeting is adjourned at 7:19 PM. Next meeting is town council.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Town of Cedar Lake Town Council meeting for November 19th, 2024. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by an opening prayer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Corcoran, please come on up and just give us your name, where you're from, and
Yes.
thank you for coming.
I'm a pastor of the Faith Bible Church in Creston. I live in Cedar Lake. My residence is 14320 Lowerman. Been there for 30-some years. My name is William Cordercrack.
Thank you, sir.
And proud son of my mom back there on the wall. Yes, amen. I'd like us all to, before I pray, I just want to thank you guys. You do things that, are very important to this town. I don't have a voice, and you're my voice, and you've been my voice, and I want to thank you for that. It's important to me that you guys do that for me. And I know the town needs you to do that for them, and you've done it for me, and I want to thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Let's pray. Lord, I just want to thank you for when I think about the voices of the people and the responsibility that these people here have over those that don't have a voice. And I feel like sometimes I don't have a voice, but they've been a voice for me, and I just want to thank you for that, Lord. I just pray that you just bless them in a way that when they do things for the town, they think about people like me and those that don't have a voice and how we need help. And I just thank you for that, and I thank you that they think about us and that they care about us and want this town to go forward and make it better. And I just want to thank you for that. It's not an easy job, and it's a lot of times people are mad at them and yelling at them and stuff, and I just pray that happens less and less. And I just pray people praise them for the good job they do. And I just want to thank you for that, Lord, in your name I pray, amen. Amen. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Corcoran. This meeting is called to order at 7:35 p.m. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Here.
Julie Rivera? Here. Chuck Becker?
Here.
Mary Joan Dixon? Here. Richard Peel?
Here.
Greg Parker?
Here.
Nick Recupero?
Here.
I am present. Jeff Bungie?
Present.
David Austin?
Present.
Thank you. Public hearing, number 1, ordinance number 1504, Lamb Public Way Vacation. Review of illegals, Attorney Austin.
The legals are in order for this public hearing.
Thank you, sir. Opening remarks that we have here is a public way vacation. It appears to be a 30-foot platted right-of-way, platted as Elwyn Road by West 128th Lane. Tim, do you have anything, or Jeff, any opening remarks on this? Any background?
I just got this afternoon, and I didn't really get a chance to drive over there and look at it, but I did look at it on the GIS, and it was one of few connectivity points between 128th Lane and 129th Avenue. There's quite a way. You go all the way down to the bottom of the hill there on Hilltop, or all the way up to the top of High Grove over there before you get another crossroad there. So I wasn't certain of the topography of this. I know I kind of seen it on the GIS, but I didn't get a chance to go really look at it. I don't know if it's on the side of a mountain there on that cliff or right at the top of the hill, but whether to deem it being unnecessary for the future, being that there's no other cross points in there, is hard to say, without, and like I said, I just seen this afternoon and kind of looked into it. I didn't get a chance to actually drive over there, but I would like to have a chance to at least go over there and verify, what this looks like in real life, I guess, before you did make a decision.
And I like your comments, because looking it over, the potential if there's a fire on 128 and you need to get people out that are south of this thing, that might be needed in the future.
Yeah. there's also a letter here in the packet from, well, it states that NIPSCO owns utility equipment that is occupying a part of this alleyway. However, NIPSCO has reviewed vacation petition submitted to the Common Council and hereby consents to the Common Council vacating the alleyway. So they did consent to it, but, yeah, I agree with what Tim's saying here. Let's go ahead and, if we can, get a reading of ordinance number 1504, please. Unless Attorney Austin, did you have something to add?
Just a couple things. You have a note also in the file, the town's file at least, of Brandon and Rhiannon Porter, who had been contacted and were in favor of the petition.
Okay.
And there's a reference to their address at 7402 West 128th Avenue. Second thing is, this has been kind of like a cold filing. This was unusual. Once we received this from either the clerk's office or planning and building, one of the two, we never heard another word from anybody. And we processed it. The fee was paid with the application and the like, but we never heard from anybody. And it looks on the application as though the property owner petitioner is Victoria and Ryan Lamb of 8250 Bering Avenue, Munster. So those couple items seem important. I had copies here somewhere. Oh, the GIS shows you exactly where this is at. You should note that as you consider this. And one of the non-remonstrators is in the blue parcel, I believe, which is shown in the overhead, or the GIS. Final item, I don't know that you received an ordinance. Our records seem to indicate that you did, you sent them, this has been pending
I
for a
don't see
while.
anything either.
Yeah.
That would be enough to defer this for direction to prepare an ordinance.
Defer to continue the public hearing.
Well, that's a good point, Greg. Continuing the public hearing makes sense. It'll give you all a chance to look at it, staff. But I would check and see who's here, if anyone.
Okay.
With remonstrance.
Okay. We'll move on to that. Thank you, Dave. We will open up the floor to remonstrators for ordinance number 1504, land public way vacation. Anybody here would like to speak on 1504, this public way vacation? Last call. Nobody online, Ms. Sandberg?
No hands are raised.
Okay. Close remonstrance.
I'll make a motion to defer
Continue.
this public hearing to the next public meeting for ordinance number 1504.
May I be directed to draft the ordinance? So it's in front of you.
Yes, yeah, if it hasn't been done yet, I think that...
Well, I, along with Tim, I know this area pretty good, but I don't really understand what this is for, so I'd like to take a look at it myself too before we go to the trouble of drafting
Okay.
ordinance, I think.
Okay.
I agree.
Does that sound fair, Dave?
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Okay.
It's your call.
Makes sense.
If it looks right, after the next public hearing, or the next public meeting, we should be able to move forward, I mean, possibly move forward.
Yeah, I will talk with staff and ask them to contact these folks too. You might like them here.
I'm always reluctant to vacate things that have public utilities in them.
You sound like Councilman Carnahan. Oh, sorry about it.
Okay, we've got a motion by Mr. Parker to continue this public hearing. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Becker. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Pease?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. We'll open the floor to public comment on agenda items only. Public comment on agenda items only. Last call. Ms. Sandberg, nobody?
No hands are raised.
Okay. Public comment on agenda items is now closed. Consent agenda. Number 1, minutes from October 1st, 2024. Claims, all town funds, $1,253,371.17. Wastewater operating, $371,288.99. Water utility, $389,960.18. Stormwater, $13,303.88. Payroll, October 24th, 2024, November 1st, 2024, and November 7th, 2024, $678,200.86. And October remittances, $207,807.70. 3 manual journal entries from October 1st to October 31st, 2024. 4 donations, fire donations to include the following: Tim and Lori Brown, $100, Ann Sharp, $100, in-kind donation to include education inflatable house. And as always, we thank you all for your kind donations. Do we have a motion to approve?
I have a question.
Yep.
It would be with the education inflatable house, what type of liability do we have as a town, or insurance purpose, or insurance question, I guess, for a inflatable, I guess, bounce house type thing?
It's not a bounce house,
What is, I mean, 'cause that's what it looks like.
but it's not.
Well, and my understanding, and I'd have to pull the emails back up, but in conversations with the insurance company, it would still be categorized as an inflatable house, like a bouncy house, and so, not necessarily covered by what we currently have. So if it were to be utilized, it would require additional coverage.
Would there be, besides additional coverage, what about clarification to insurance company for what it is? 'Cause I'm just asking for, my knowledge, I guess, 'cause maybe the insurance company doesn't understand what it is.
The insurance company was sent a copy of everything.
Okay.
Is it going to be outside where potential the wind can pick it up like they've done with some bounce houses?
I also looked into this, trying to get the opportunity to bring this to the community at a community event. It could be used indoors or outdoors, and I too sent them the specifics of the educational tool from the manufacturer. It doesn't have a floor that kids can bounce on. It's just essentially a tent that they get to be maneuvered and walk through. For
It's an inflatable tent, not an actual bounce house, even though it looks like one.
Right, the floor is not inflatable.
Move.
Yeah, well, I agree, I'm not, yeah.
It's like any other tent, I mean, it's gotta be anchored down appropriately. The inside of it is for fire prevention education. This was bought by the association to the fire prevention division of the department by those members. Looking for a donation to the town, to donate it to the town or become part of our stock. This, like I said, it does not have an inflatable floor. Kids don't jump around it, they walk through it.
Okay. Any other questions on this item or concerns?
That was my question.
Okay.
So, did you get an answer to your question, I guess, is?
I'm still a little confused, and I mean, I understand, we all know how insurance companies work and stuff like that, trying to limit liability and stuff like that. If it's a tent, what's the difference then in coverage, whether we have a tent or anything like that, whether it be Farmers Market, Taylor Ice Fest, Summerfest, anything? How does that,
Any inflatable, it's an inflatable.
Yeah.
Any inflatable has to have additional insurance. So we buy additional
and so it is
insurance.
strictly for the fact of,
would-
inflatable?
I took that out of my packet,
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah.
so you could pass it down and look at it.
It's on, I'm looking at it in the,
Okay.
yeah, I'm looking at it right here.
Yes, back again.
So there's no getting around the inflatable.
You have to have additional insurance. I mean, I know Farmers Market did, we do.
Even though it's not technically a bounce house.
Because if the wind gets underneath it and moves it, that's what the problem is. It's not so much
They just look at it as being inflatable.
inflatable.
Okay.
And we nail ours down too, it's just, they still, it's an insurance thing because it's happened before. I mean,
Did we
we've
get
all seen them.
a quote or anything on what additional would be, or had we not gone that far on that?
We didn't go that far because we don't technically own it.
I guess I'd really like to at least hold off on that until we know what this extra additional insurance would be. I don't know if that's something that what everybody else would like to do or not.
I can reach out to risk management tomorrow to clarify with your question.
Do you think it's gonna be like thousands of dollars? I mean, how much?
But I don't wanna make a decision without knowing what that total is.
I was asking Mary Joan, because you said you had to insure yours with the,
Our carnival people get
Yeah.
additional insurance. I couldn't tell you what they pay.
okay, I was just wondering.
We require it. Like, it's, not only do we get additional insurance for the town for $5,000, then the carnival, the beer garden, and any bounce house has to have additional, or
Okay.
animals has to have additional
I
insurance.
didn't know if you knew what
I
they
don't,
were.
yeah, I'm sorry, I
Okay.
don't know.
So I would actually, Mr. President, like to see if we could just hold off on the donation of the education inflatable bounce house until the next meeting. I would think we should have an answer on an additional.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guarantee I'll have a response from risk management tomorrow as soon as I inquire.
Okay,
So
go ahead, Jennifer, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna ask if the motion would be to approve the consent agenda less the in-kind donation and move the in-kind donation to
Yes.
your next consent agenda.
Mhm.
Correct.
Okay, that is a motion by Mr. Teal.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Excuse me, who made that? I was,
That was, Mr. Teal.
okay.
Motion to approve the consent agenda, seconded by Ms. Dixon, minus the in-kind donation of the education inflatable house, which will be placed on the next consent agenda pending, some insurance research. Does that sound right, Rich?
Correct.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Joan Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
And Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Ordinances and resolutions, ordinance number 1505, amendment to town ordinance number 1402. This will be a first reading, review of the legals, Attorney Austin.
Legals are in order.
Okay. Would you like to give us some opening remarks on this one? It's a plan commission item, was it lighting ordinance?
This is the lighting ordinance and some clarifications to the lighting section of zoning ordinance 1402.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
1505.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, ordinance number 1505. An ordinance reclassifying certain lands in the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana for zoning purposes, and amending town ordinance number 1402 being zoning ordinance of the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, passed and adopted by the town council, town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, the first day of March 2022, and all amendments passed subsequent thereto.
Thank you, sir.
Barely heard that.
Okay.
Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, ordinance number 1505, an ordinance reclassifying certain lands in the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana for zoning purposes and amending town ordinance number 1402 being the zoning ordinance of the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, passed and adopted by the town council of the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, the first day of March 2022, and all amendments passed subsequent thereto.
Thank you. We'll open up the floor to remonstrators for ordinance number 1505. Any remonstrators here for 1505? Last call. Okay, remonstrance is closed?
No.
Yeah, okay. Town council discussion. This will be a first reading, approval.
You only need a single reading.
I'm sorry?
You only need a single
Oh, this
reading.
is just a single reading ordinance?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. There's no discussion. Is there a motion to approve or adopt ordinance number 1505?
So move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Ms. Dixon, seconded by Mr. Teal to adopt ordinance number 1505. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 2, ordinance number 1363, specific development approvals and authorizations. Attorney Austin, legal?
Legals are in order.
Would this also be a single reading ordinance?
It is.
Okay, thank you.
This is a resolution, not an ordinance.
Okay, on my agenda it had ordinance.
It does say ordinance on the agenda.
Really?
In the resolution, it says resolution.
Okay.
I had a discussion with Kirsten earlier today.
My agenda says resolution.
Yeah, I see resolution.
I printed off the last version at home.
I did too.
Sorry. So this would be resolution number
1363.
1363.
Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, resolution number 1363. A resolution of the town council of the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, regarding specific development approvals and authorizations for same, and certain matters related thereto.
All right, thank you.
Mr. President, if I may give a brief, I guess layman's term of the description of this. With attending many of the building department meetings and stuff like that, and hearing some of the confusion and concerns as far as issuing permits for these already approved lots in both Lakeview and Railside Business Park, with the recent IDEM letter and concerns that we have with water, permits were being held, and so I guess this, long story short, is to clarify that anything going in those two industrial parks or business parks, low water consumption businesses, would be able to get permits issued. This would also help clarify with anything coming in before Plan Commission, that if anything on these lots that are already developed, if a business comes in, say it would be a car wash, a laundromat, or a manufacturing that would be a high consumer of water, that would more than likely be turned down without any further water exploration, water capacity, and then that way it doesn't, I guess it's just the amendment to the moratorium that these are already approved, infrastructure's already in the ground. And I guess more so for clarity, like I said, for the building department on what permits can be issued. I already know that there's 3 that are waiting to be sent out to them. They're already applied for. And then, but any future ones, it would depend on what's actually going in there.
Okay, thank you, Rich. Attorney Austin, do you have to add anything to this? I think Rich covered it pretty good, but...
He did, he covered it great, actually. There has been dictum from IDEM about these matters. You've been in communication directly with representatives down in Indianapolis. We know that these were approved parcels, permit-wise, and we know that IDEM is left to our discretion based upon the scientific knowledge and permit information, the decision you're considering right now.
Very good. Okay. Thank you all for the dialogue. We'll open up the floor to remonstrators for resolution number 1363. Okay, good evening.
Robert Henn, 13455 Parish Avenue. Yeah, Rich, you can explain that great, because I have a copy of the resolution here, and I'm really confused by section 1, this paragraph in section 1 on the second page. It just words, there's a lot of wording in there that is dates and developer agreements, and I just wanted to make sure that the permits we already have, the building permits that we already have in turned in that have been sat on since, I think, August or July. Those are gonna be released if you pass this tonight, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then any future ones we submit, obviously, we have to go through plan commission approval and all of that, like normal. And then those will go through fine, as long as the plan commission approves, unless it's a high water user, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that, because this second paragraph is extremely confusing with.
Well, in discussion that you and I have had, and as well as those that were in that developer meeting that we had, as far as our situation with the water, with, you know, the fact of the water exploration, possible well treatment and stuff like that, it kind of encompasses everything, so we don't have to keep revisiting it every time something comes in. It kind of covers all bases.
Okay.
And so there are, as we all know, there were some developments that were approved, but no NOIs were signed. So that's why it's worded the way it is.
They have approved NOIs, though, these developments.
These do, but it has to be worded the way it is for legal purposes, so there's clarity, so the developers that were approved by Plan Commission, but no NOI signed, this does not give them the authority to come in for anything at this moment until water's figured out. I guess is that the best way to explain it, Dave?
Yeah, I guess so, but I think it's only fair to the developer to know he's really in partnership with us.
Mm-hmm.
We are walking a delicate walk. The fact that this is occurring is part of that delicate walk. And you will not necessarily receive automatic approvals at the Plan Commission. It will be based upon the technical data, the information our engineers tell us, the work you and your engineers will do in conjunction with us, and the process that's being followed. We've made active representations to IDEM about what our path is based upon their report, and they've accepted that. So here we are now, taking a small but important first step.
And I appreciate that, Dave. So, yeah, that was our main concern, that we have the permits will be released already in-house, and the future ones will go through the Plan Commission like normal. And we understand completely, high water users are going to be looked at differently, possibly denied, until a time in the future you have more water capacity. So I just wanted to clarify that, because like I said, I just didn't, that was a little confusing, so, thanks, guys.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Last call for remonstrance for resolution number 1363. Okay, remonstrance is now closed. Any town council discussion?
Yes.
Please.
Our last page is showing signatures of the town council and signatures of the utility board. Can we approve this, even though we're the same board, but it's not the utility meeting?
You can approve it in this meeting as the town council. Put it on the next agenda for adding the utility board. And the reason for that, Bob, that's a good point, is because some aspects of this are utility board jurisdiction, and they need to be on this. So, and our dealings with IDEM will be inclusive of both boards being participants.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bob, thank you, Dave. Any other discussion? If not, is there a decision on resolution number 1363?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 1363.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
And this will go to the utility board next, correct?
That's what you're suggesting? Okay.
But this does not limit them from coming in tomorrow to get their permits, just so we're clear.
Town council has approved this resolution.
Okay.
Well, you will when you vote.
Yeah.
We have a motion by Mr. Becker, seconded by Mr. Teal, to approve resolution number 1363. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Joan Dixon?
Yes.
Richard View?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. BZA Plan Commission, number 1, approve Beacon Point East, Unit 1, conversion to maintenance letter of credit in the amount of $136,694.72 due to expire on October 30th, 2027. This item was approved by Plan Commission on October 16th, 2024, with a vote of 6 in favor, 1 abstained. Any discussion on this item? Pretty cut and dry. Is there a motion to approve this conversion?
Make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion made by Ms. Rivera, seconded by Mr. Parker to approve this Beacon Point East Unit 1 conversion to maintenance letter of credit. Any discussion? Roll call?
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 2, approve Beacon Point West Unit 5 performance letter of credit extension in the amount of $212,835.71 due to expire on May 19, 2025. This item was approved by Plan Commission on November 6, 2024, at a special meeting with a vote of 7 in favor, 0 against. Any discussion? Somebody like to make a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Becker to approve this Beacon Point West Unit 5 performance letter of credit extension. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Moving on to new business, number 1, Cedar Lake Town, year 2024, Monastery Clubhouse Facility Apartment Lease. Lease agreement. Ms. Sandberg, have you been involved in these?
Yeah, this is an annual item. It's for the tenant in the apartment above the Monastery Clubhouse. I have no issue. The tenant always pays timely.
That's good.
Rich?
The rental
really
amount,
inexpensive?
$650 a month,
Because he
been
does
that way
take time.
for a year's term, last year,
$650 a month?
$650 a month.
Okay.
This is for 2025 or?
That was 2024's rent.
So, have we done any, like, rent calculations? Have we considered anything like that as far as increasing it at all or anything, or?
I think the rationale in previous years has always been, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the insurance is less because it's occupied. Also, this person kind of keeps an eye on the place.
Mm-hmm.
Probably has a lot of loud Saturday night weddings and parties that when he's upstairs. I mean, it's kind of
It
like...
has its pros and cons.
Yeah, and we're
Yeah.
not really in the business to be landlords, so
Right.
to speak. So that's why in previous years, we've just pretty much left it the same.
Okay.
And I do
We had
believe
a
it,
substantial gas leak in that place, and if it wasn't for the tenant
Yeah.
that was there, that place would have blew up.
That's just one example, you know, of
We
him
did.
keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, and he was there to call
so
911.
for a great many years, it was only $500. And then I believe a few years back, the council increased it to $600. And I want to say within the last year or two is when it increased to the
I
$650.
don't think last year we did, but it could be.
If not last year, then the year prior. But I know
It
it's...
was last year, Jeff.
Okay.
It was.
I think it was.
Okay, so I feel fine, I mean...
Yeah. I was just asking, I like the
I
explanation,
know, but
thank
it
you.
does sound
Yeah.
very low, but when you take all that in consideration.
Yeah, I didn't think about the weddings and other stuff like that, so, yeah.
I wouldn't.
I did, yeah.
May not be the most peaceful environment sometimes.
No,
Yeah.
unless he goes down and sneaks in as a guest, I don't know.
Party crashers, the wedding crashers.
That's a perk.
Yeah.
Somebody like to make a motion to possibly approve the apartment lease?
I'll make that motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion made by Mr. Teal, seconded by Ms. Dixon to approve Cedar Lake Town Year 2024 Monastery Clubhouse Facility Apartment Lease. Any discussion?
Should it be 25 instead of 24?
Is it 24 into 25?
The
Yeah, no,
term,
it should be a 2025. Most of the year is in the lease that you're about to approve.
Okay. So you want to call it the 2025?
I already have in my office.
Okay.
But for the record, we'll call it 2025.
Okay, very good. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 2, Fire Department Water Softener Rental Agreement. Where are we at here? Who wants to take the lead on this one? Chief Wilkening?
We need a water softener. It's been out for 3 weeks, and the water's pretty much messing everything up in the station. I did poll everybody to see what would be the best thing to do, and the consensus was to lease one. And Jennifer mentioned that it had to be approved by the council to go into a lease, so that's what we're doing.
No.
We did ask 4 different places and only got 1 back.
See, with this lease, most leases, when you rent, if something goes wrong, they pay for it. Where it says number 6, it says maintenance and repairs, the renter shall be responsible for regular maintenance and any necessary repairs during the rental term. The owner must be notified of any issues. So that's showing we have to pay for it if it breaks.
We're not the owner.
No, it says the renter
Okay.
shall be responsible
Yeah.
for regular maintenance and any necessary repairs.
Could that be an error? Because, I mean,
I've never heard of that.
yeah.
They're the only ones that responded back to us.
I never have either. I got 4 of them that I rent.
So,
They come to service them.
So,
yeah, these colors,
yeah.
and they'll give you a new one if
so we
they
need
can't
to,
fix it.
before,
Yeah, clarification on item 6.
why rent for something if you have to pay for it to get fixed?
Then you might as
Might as well
well
buy
just purchase
Right.
a new one.
So, until we get this figured out.
Who's the company?
Yeah, so it's the improvement
That's,
contingent
you
on-
guys are talking about personal facilities. This is
So you don't have to wear it down.
this is a business rental.
Do you know if that's erroneous, or, because we can approve it, I'm sorry?
A lot, I'm sorry to interrupt, I
No,
just,
go ahead.
a lot of times when you're doing a business rental and something like that, a lot of times they don't honor it the same as in the house, like she said.
Interesting.
I would ask.
Yeah, we need
What's
clarification.
it cost to purchase one? Did we price that?
We did, yes.
How much is that?
It was somewhere around $2,000 or $1,800.
I think it was just under 2,000.
Yeah, it was $1,800, and that was, had a warranty and everything on it, and we just maintained the salt. So,
Well, if we gotta maintain it anyway, why wouldn't we just buy one and maintain it?
I tried to do that, but that was not allowed, so.
No, because we thought it would be better to rent it and not have to worry about it, but this is, something we weren't aware of.
So we need clarification before we vote on it.
Well, I kinda understand that, yeah, if it- on a business thing, just like, same thing with the lease.
But we can't,
You know, in a
we
car.
can't go on without it, because it's just
What is it?
destroying our fire station, everything in it.
Right, I would be more inclined to just purchase than rent, if you gotta maintain it anyway.
Do you have that total, pulled up, Todd? That way maybe we don't have to wait 2 weeks to approve you buying
To
it?
buy it, I didn't bring it.
Jim said it was
Because
just
of the
under
email.
2,000.
I know it was
because
under
we,
2,000.
yeah, we had this conversation quite a few weeks back via email, so I don't have it memorized, but I believe it was just under
Yeah.
2,000 for a water softener unit itself, because I know some other repair work had to be done. But yeah, I mean, none of our other facilities, we don't rent, we just,
Right.
they're
And then
purchased.
That's because
installation,
I sent it out to everybody, and everybody had a different idea, so.
so then the
I found
installation,
the link.
if we
I found
purchase
the-
it, do you have people on staff that can install it, or do we have to hire
No,
someone
that's
to install?
installed, Mary Jo.
But,
That price.
if you buy one? No, I'm talking, if you buy one.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
it was installed by,
It was actually,
Action Plumbing.
Okay.
I don't think you do if it's changing out
Yeah.
equipment, I think if it's
Make a
changing
motion.
out the wires or.
If we could we just?
Yeah, to purchase instead of lease,
Not
Not,
to exceed number of $2,000,
not to exceed the estimate.
that makes sense.
for the water softener itself, and then, if everybody's on board, just utilize those CCD equipment money.
Yep.
Okay, awesome, thank you guys.
Mhm.
Well, you didn't vote yet, so.
Did you make that motion?
Yeah, if Mr. President, if I may, I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of a water heater from Action Plumbing.
Or softener?
Water softener.
Yeah, water softener. I hope I don't jinx the water heater now. Gosh darn.
Nice going.
Yeah, sorry, that's on me. Yeah, the water softener.
Should the motion include the denial of the rental agreement, since that's what's on the agenda, or?
Doesn't matter if they make a motion that's different.
Okay.
Yeah, I would think we should make the motion to approve the purchase rather than rental.
Right.
Okay.
Did you put a not to exceed on there too? I don't remember.
As per estimate on Action Plumbing.
Fair enough.
And, use of CCD funds, Mr. Teal?
In the use of the CCD fund, equipment fund.
Okay.
I'll second your motion.
We have a motion made by Mr. Teal, seconded by Mr. Parker to approve the fire department purchase of a water softener from Action Plumbing, to use CCD equipment funds, in the amount of the estimate. Does that sound right, Mr. Teal?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Teal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 3, Crone and Associates engagement letter for the 2024 general obligation bonds. Mr. Thompson, good evening.
Good evening.
Brief explanation, please.
Sure. Yep, so we already have an engagement letter with you guys. However, anytime we do bonds, it's a requirement by MSRB as well as the SEC that we get an additional engagement letter signed. But again, the rates that are in this engagement letter are materially the same as the general services engagement letter that we have with you guys. Again, it's kind of just a legal formality here on our end to engage us in doing these bonds.
Okay. And you're estimating this engagement would range anywhere from 25 to 35,000?
That's correct, and considering the type of sale we're doing here, I would anticipate it to be on the lower end there.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for Corby? Legal, this motion?
This is appropriate.
Okay.
He's catching the paper up to the acts that are already in process.
Okay. Very good. There's no more discussion. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion
To
to engage with 2024 general obligation bonds.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Ms. Dixon, seconded by Mr. Parker to approve this Cronin Associates engagement letter for the 2024 general obligation bonds. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Teal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Corby.
You're welcome. And can I add just one thing? It's really more in relation to the bonds here. So we're still trying to figure out exactly what sources and uses are going to be here. And I just want to give you guys an update on, we essentially have $2.4 million in uses as of now. That still leaves about $200,000 in bond proceeds to ultimately be allocated how you as a council see best fit. And that's considering not the purchase of a payloader or a street sweeper with these funds. So if that is something we want to do, that would certainly use up the remaining bond proceeds. So I just want to make sure that this is kind of on your guys' list of things to discuss, that how is this remaining $200,000 of bond proceeds going to be best used and serve the town?
Okay. All right, thank you, sir.
Did we discuss something about maybe streets?
Yeah, we have discussed it, and last I talked with Don, the road committee, or streets committee is supposed to get with Don before the end of the year to go over that list that he's got. I think it's a phaser list, the ratings.
Yeah.
So, Don has some instruction to get a hold of you guys that are on that committee to get together about that.
Can I ask who's on that committee? Chuck?
I was on it last year.
I'm on it.
You're on it?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Bob, you as well, right? Yep. Okay. Moving on to number 4, year 2024-2025 Moto on Ice event agreement. Dave, did you have anything for us on this?
Yeah, this is nearly identical of an agreement to last year. Insurance is the update item usually on the dates. I saw it today and it looked like it picked up all the dates that could potentially be used from January 1st through, I think, March 1st, or thereabouts.
Okay.
That's usually a town manager, with the producers and promoters, and kind of get the details pulled together.
Okay. Mr. Jenkins, can you hear me? Hey, good evening. Do you have anything to add or any questions about this agreement?
No, we looked through it, with the club, everything in it seems to, like Dave said, the same as it was last year, is all we really hope for. Still need to meet with Jeff and a couple of pieces of the puzzle in the town, but as far as the agreement goes, we were good with everything.
Okay. Ms. Ray?
As the Parks Department last year, we helped execute this, and I did have one concern. It was probably the first time in a few years that they've been able to come on ground. And just for your consideration, I said to previous administration at that time that there's plowing of snow on the grassy areas for these events. It did happen last year. And as, you know, the Parks Department is responsible for maintaining and repairing, if a clause could be in here to say pavement parking only, because plows were all the grassy area behind the park office and by the bandstand were plowed out for parking spaces.
And that was done by whom?
By Moto on Ice.
Okay.
And so it's not really outlined in this, but it happens and for protection purposes of the ground.
Okay.
Can I ask Tim a question?
Yeah.
Tim, this parking, I'm assuming, is necessary. Would you be willing to bring the grounds back to its original state if you were to do damage to the grounds?
I don't think we would have a problem with that. I know Josh is the one that plowed it for us. He was, we put the feet as high up as we could to the plow, trying not to hit any of the grass, but if we do damage, I believe we would be able to repair that.
Because the parking is necessary, is it not? I mean...
Yeah, we can't park everybody in the small paved parking lot, especially now with the trucks and trailers.
Okay, thank you. Would you be willing to agree to that?
I'm just looking for any way to protect what we're trying to maintain and repair and improve upon,
So you...
I'll allow them to do their job.
So you guys have been maintaining that, Mindy?
Yes.
The department? So maybe some kind of, addition to this that, the grassy areas will be restored to the Parks Department's standards?
Golf course-like standards.
I don't know about...
More previous conditions prior.
Like the rock where I had...
Great
my
partners
golf ball.
last year, there was no issues, just the concerns that we put a lot of dirt work and seed into those grounds this year as the department and tried to reestablish heavily used areas of grass.
Okay, could that just be...
I got it.
You got it?
I got it.
Okay.
I got a question, is this, the insurance, is that gonna be enough?
Don't know.
I mean, what happens if someone gets hurt? Is the town gonna be responsible, or is it?
There's similar limits, Chuck, as to what the statute talks about for liability limits. Is it enough? Probably never enough. But that's the objective limit.
Do you need something in this motion to...
That would help.
For what we just discussed?
But no matter what, you're gonna get it, it's that parking.
Okay.
Can we ask them who their insurance company is, because they're racing bikes on ice? Surely, I would like to talk to them about an inflatable. I mean, they're being insured for that, boy, I'm telling you, we should be able to talk to them.
Fire department inflatable on the lake.
Yeah.
We got that vision.
All right. Well, you guys can get together after the meeting, all right?
Okay, I will, thank you.
All right. All right, if there's no other discussion, is there an action on Moto on Ice event agreement?
I make a motion to approve the 2024-2025 Motor on Ice event agreement with the understanding that they'll work with the park department and return the grass to the standard that the park department expects from them.
Very good. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Ms. Dixon, seconded by Mr. Teal to approve the year 2024-2025 Moto on Ice event agreement with the additional understanding that the grounds will be restored back to park department's liking and standards. No?
To original condition.
Oh, original condition, okay. All right. Was that your
That's
motion?
good.
Yeah?
More clear.
Okay. Any discussion? Roll call?
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes. Motion carries 7-0. Number 5, consider sale of old phone system utilizing govdeals.com. Who wants to take this one?
Cliff, you want to take it or you want me to?
I can take it. We upgraded the phone system for the town as part of the building projects. That left us with the old system, and we'd like to liquidate it using GovDeals.
Sounds fair.
So moved.
I have a question, Cliff. When will we see the correct, extensions? Because I believe, like, I still see emails and I'm hitting old extensions every time I try to call and it's telling me I can't do it.
Well, if individuals have
I've
it.
updated the website and everything. I've emailed all our users to make sure they update that.
Okay.
And I'll send another email out to do what we can do.
Okay, thank you.
All right. We have a motion by Mr. Parker. Do we have a second?
Oh, sorry.
Second by Mr. Becker to approve the sale of old phone system utilizing govdeals.com. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 6, C-Bell change order number 1 for Morse Water Main Project from $900,000 to $894,760.00.
Good to see a reduction.
It is nice, Bob, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Parker, to approve C-Bell change order number 1 for Morse Water Main Project from $900,000 to $894,760.00. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 7, C-Bell pay request number 3, final, for Morse Water Main Extension Project in the amount of $138,179.50.
That's the Gatlin plumbing, right?
Should be the Gatlin, yeah. Yes, sir.
Make a motion.
Motion to approve, is there a second?
I'll second.
One to Ms. Rivera. Motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Ms. Rivera to approve C-Bell pay request number 3, final, Morse Water Main Extension Project in the amount of $138,179.50. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 8, authorize town council president to sign the 2024-2 Community Crossings Matching Grant Agreement and all related contracts.
And that is for $791,789.69, and I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion to authorize town council president to sign the 2024-2 Community Crossings Matching Grant Agreement and all related contracts. The dollar amount of $791,789 and what was it? 69 cents.
Are we gonna talk about where it's going?
No, we've already approved that.
I know.
Well, you can, yeah, there's discussion.
I mean, I'll just
Yeah.
let everyone know it's gonna go to the Shades.
This is your Shades Phase 2 project.
Shades Phase 2.
Can we possibly put that on our website? There's a lot of people were asking, they saw that we were, awarded the money, so if we could put that on the website so that people would have an answer, that'd be great.
Sure.
Good idea. Okay, roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 9, allow early closure for town employee holiday party Friday, December 13th, 2024. Any discussion? Something we do every year?
Past administrations have allowed for a staff holiday party, so the town hall, public works, will close up early, and I think discussion this year was to have a staff potluck, I believe is what we had been discussing. Right, Tim? He usually heads it up.
Yeah, we're gonna work it out.
Yeah. What time would the public expect town hall to close if this is approved?
12.
12.
12 p.m.
This thing's usually held at the monastery clubhouse? That one?
Public Works.
Okay, it's not that other one.
Well, we did have it at the clubhouse a few times when we had Tammy here to be on the fall to reserve us a day ahead of time, but since she left, that put me in charge, and we don't have a day, so.
So it'll be a Public Works. Option 2.
We used to have it at Public Works back in the day, when I first started.
Make your reservation January 2nd.
Right.
Use it up, use it snazzy.
Tammy was our one for that, she always did it. But we
Well, we
did
might-
it last year at Public Works, and it was just fine, so.
Okay. Sounds good. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Motion made by Ms. Rivera, seconded by Mr. Carnahan to allow the early closure of town employee holiday party Friday, December 13th, 2024. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 10, consider posting a notice to accept applications for 2025 board and commission appointments. Mr. Bungie.
As of a notice or an announcement, I guess, of for a number of boards and commissions that we have that help run this town with grease lightning efficiency. Yes, we do have some terms that expire at the end of the year, and we have 2 on the Board of Safety, 1 Park Board, 1 Planning Commission meeting, or member, 1 Stormwater, and 1 member of the Unsafe Building Commission will be losing their job potentially.
I believe there is also a BZA appointment that expires.
One BZA.
And the Park Foundation members have not all been filled, and we've only gotten 2 applicants.
Okay, so if you guys are adding that to it.
Okay. And then we were going to reach out to the current appointees just as a reminder to reapply.
If
They
that
want-
is the direction, I think we talked about that informally, but if you'd like to make that more of a formal request of me, I'd be more than willing to do that.
Okay.
The Board of Zoning Appeals, wasn't that person appointed by the town or the Plan Commission?
It says on the listing that I have that the one that's expiring at the end of this year is Jim Hunley, and that is a council appointee, so,
Okay.
or that's what Kirsten has here.
Yeah, that's what I
Okay.
see.
Yeah. So he serves on the Plan Commission, and we, I think, appointed him as town council to be on the BZA. Because Greg held that at one time.
That's correct, I believe.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so we'll get that posted, we'll do whatever modifications you folks want, and, we'll keep you in the loop.
Okay, very good, Jeff. Do we have a motion on this item?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion made by Mr. Teal, seconded by Ms. Dixon to
Question.
Yeah, let me just reel this off quickly. Motion and a second to post notice to accept applications for 2025 boards and commission appointments. Any discussion?
These posts will be made where?
On the town website.
Okay, can we also use social media, please? Use social media also, please?
I'm sure we will.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 11, consider Chamber of Commerce to use the town council chambers for Santa during the Parade of Lights on November 26, 2024. Shouldn't that be is that the 23rd?
I was just gonna make mention that that seems to be a date error.
Okay, thank you, Mindy. We've got a letter from the Executive Director of Cedar Lake Chamber of Commerce, Ms. Justice, kindly asking for the use of the town hall meeting room after the Gene Everly Parade of Lights on November 23rd, 2024, for children to greet Santa Claus, have hot cocoa, and hand out prizes for winners. They would need the room from 5:15 to about 8 p.m. And they promise to leave the room clean and make sure no one goes behind the area where the town council sits. Any discussion?
There are no other meetings scheduled, right, that?
We
I believe it's Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
Oh, Saturday, okay.
It's part of Parade of Lights.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Can I ask a question? Cliff? Yes, sir? Are you going to be able to have access for, the front doors, or how are we gonna handle those folks getting in since there's no?
We get them in, the police department escorts them in.
We'll take care of it. Okay, all right. That was my only concern. I'm sorry for the interruption.
Good question. No problem at all, Jeff. We have a motion by Mr. Becker, seconded by Mr. Teal, to approve Chamber of Commerce use of town council chambers for Santa Claus during the Parade of Lights on November 23rd, 2024. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Turn the page. Number 12, requisition number 18, disbursement of funds from 2022A Construction Fund in the amount of $20,623.70. This is one of our bills we have to pay.
For the police station.
For the police station? Okay. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
You get the next one, Rich. Motion made by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Becker to approve requisition number 18, disbursement of funds from 2022A Construction Fund in the amount of $20,623.70. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera? Yes. Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 13, excuse me, requisition number 17, disbursement of funds from 2022B Construction Fund in the amount of $22,949.07.
Fire station.
For the fire station. Yes, sir.
So moved.
Motion to approve by Mr. Parker. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Teal. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 14, requisition number 19, disbursement of funds from 2022A Construction Fund in the amount of $8,525.59 for the police station. We have a motion?
So moved.
That's a motion and a second?
Sure.
Okay. Motion made by Mr. Parker, seconded by Ms. Dixon, to approve requisition number 19, disbursement of funds from 2022A construction fund in the amount of $8,525.59. Discussion? Roll call, please. Oh, go ahead.
What is that for? Just
Police.
That's police,
Alright.
yeah.
We gotta pay it.
All right, roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Tuse?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupido?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 15, requisition number 18, disbursement of funds from 2022B construction fund in the amount of $170,360.96. This one would be for the fire station. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Would you like to second it, Ms. Dixon?
Sure, I'll second.
Okay. Motion made by Mr. Parker, seconded by Ms. Dixon, to approve requisition number 18, disbursement of funds from 2022B construction fund in the amount of $170,360.96. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Tuse?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupido?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Reports, town council reports. Mr. Carnahan.
All I've got is that the Gene Eberly Parade Lights will take place Saturday, November 23rd at 6 p.m., kicking off over at Hanover School and coming down here. And I guess they're gonna have some music, and Santa will be here giving candy and stuff away.
Very good. Anything else, Bob? Okay. Any other town council reports?
Well, I received an email from Julie Zazada. I guess in the past, we've waived the fee for the electric for the Taylor Fest, which is December 6th and 7th. I don't know if we can take care of it or what. It was done in the past, and she asked if we could do it again. Jeff, you should have got the email also.
I did. One of the first things I did, administrative things I did, coming on back in January was giving her the okay that we would credit back, that expense.
So you'd rather credit back it than, she just asked if it could be waived.
Well, that's basically what we did, yeah. Rather than her paying the electrical portion of the bill for the month, we waived, I don't know, I think it was $95. That sounds about right?
I'd have to pull I'd have to pull what you gave me. I don't remember what you discounted it.
So is this something we would continue to do? I mean, it's in 2 weeks. I don't know. I don't think she's gonna pull the rug out under us, do you think?
No.
Have you talked to her since?
I just from the email, I think I only got the email over the weekend, Friday.
I'm okay with Jeff just handling it.
Okay, that's fine. She just needs assurance, that's all. She sent an email and she just needs assurance.
Everybody, it's $95, $100, big deal.
And then on I'm sorry, on the summer, oh, go on, you're still, I'm sorry.
I want to add to that, just if we're approving that, I wouldn't do by date, because actually they take a week ahead of time to start getting the temperature up there running, so just for that time frame for the event, it would.
We did it for the whole month last time.
Okay. Okay, Jeff's got it.
Very good.
And then I was also, for the 4th of July contract, I asked for the dates to be approved. If those can be approved soon, because we have numerous contracts we cannot sign if we do not get that on this agenda. The dates just need to be signed,
Okay.
or, approved, if that's possible.
For Summerfest?
Correct.
Okay, can we get that on the agenda for the first meeting in December? Yes, please.
We will make that happen
Vice
also.
Ms. Dixon?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have two, Mr. President. First one is regarding the JMOB true-up questions that Sue Hayes had. She did send me a list of the 2022 and now 23 updated or cleaned up questions. I did send them off to all the JMOB members, both council presidents, and both clerk treasurers, just so everybody's aware.
Can you send them to all the council?
I can. I just initially sent it to everybody involved, because Craig asked what else we'd like to see on the agenda for that meeting. And so I want that to be on there for a topic of discussion.
Very good.
Second thing, where we at with the mechanic? Did they come in and sign things, Jennifer, or are we,
Yeah.
do you know, Tim? Yeah.
Everything is complete and he'll start on Wednesday, what the day is before Thanksgiving.
I couldn't tell you with that one, there's been so many things that have happened over the last
I don't know
week
the
that
exact
I don't
date,
have a
but
good
next-
update on that.
So
one.
everything did get pretty much signed and we're kind of,
Yeah, Sarah.
should be good moving forward?
Okay, I didn't recall him actually coming into the office yet, but like I said, it's been a whirlwind the last week, so.
Yep, your time schedule to start Wednesday, the 27th.
Which for tomorrow?
And
Okay.
he'll be out for 2 days and come back Monday. That was in order for him to get his insurance started at the 1st of December, he needed to start on the 27th, so it was just kind of.
Yep.
Breaking them in slowly?
We're hoping that we're gonna break him in, have him long enough to break him in, but it seems like a good kid and, me and Rich went through a lot of applications and,
I appreciate it.
got to a good person, so.
Good deal.
And, one other thing, sorry, planning director, did we post that, or is it?
It was posted.
It was
Yep,
posted.
it was posted.
I just didn't physically see, I was just wondering.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
whenever you guys wanna discuss, we did receive an applicant yesterday, so I
Okay.
don't know. Do you want me to wait 2 weeks, or how do you,
I was,
because we didn't put an ending on it, we put until filled.
until filled. I would say
Yeah.
at least give it, a week or two, then we can see how things are looking.
Okay, so I'll have an update for you, at your next executive session.
Okay.
I know NERC tried hiring a planning director, and it took them 2 years to get somebody due to the fact that NERC, Northwest Indiana Regional Planning, it's an acronym, which isn't good to do. And because we compete against the Chicago market, it's just hard to find somebody.
Well, I feel good if we already have one and just posted.
Yeah, that's good.
Any other town council reports? None, we'll move on to town attorney, Attorney Austin.
No reports.
No reports, thank you, sir. Clerk treasurer, Ms. Sandberg.
So I'm continuing to work with the consultants on getting the general obligation bond to fruition. I plan to have a draft of the 2025 salary ordinance for your next agenda because, oh my goodness, it's almost already December. There will also be a transfer resolution. I've spoken with multiple departments already, and there are some year-ending obligations that we got to take care of, so we'll be kind of flipping some things around. And then I'm going to wait till the very last second, but it's necessary to do. So after the 12/5 pay, I will notice an additional appropriation, and that'll be for the fire overtime.
Okay. And that'll be on?
That'll be a
the first-
public hearing that will occur on your second meeting in December,
Second.
because I need those 12/5 paid numbers in order to better calculate what additional we will need.
Okay.
You said it was for what, I'm sorry. What are the additional appropriations for?
For the fire overtime.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Ms. Sandberg?
I believe that's it.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Town manager, Mr. Bungie.
I have nothing under the CBO report.
Okay,
When that section comes up.
thank you. Director of operations, Mr. Kubiak.
No, but just glad that we do have the mechanic position filled. That should be hopefully a lot better than the last time, we're hoping. And just a lot of leaves. We're almost done picking up leaves. Did the last round of picking up brush before winter. And being that the snow has been holding off, we're just about almost caught up to the leaves. But if anybody wants to take a drive down to the flume and see how many leaves we actually pick up, it's pretty impressive.
No pictures?
It's a big pile, let me tell you.
All right.
Mary Jones said, how about a picture?
I'm just kidding.
I'll send you a picture, but it's pretty crazy to see the amount.
Vermillion was like a tunnel.
Yeah, it's amazing. When you see them all in a pile, it's like, holy smokes, there's a lot of these.
All right, thanks, Tim. Police Department, Chief Bringham.
I'm glad to report that Matthew Milan graduated the police academy last Friday. He's back with us, continuing his training,
Good deal right there.
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, absolutely. Great kid, local kid, was already doing a great job before he went to the academy, so I'm sure he's also glad to be back. So you'll see him out there in addition. So our calls for service for the month of October are 895, traffic stops 287, morning analysis 257, citations 119, 615 law incidents, arrest analysis is 22, and second arrest analysis showing 29. Ordinances, we have pretty consistent with every month, 34, sorry, I'm scrolling through here. It was 34 warnings. Citations are 35. So that's it on the reports.
Thank you, Chief. Moving on to Fire Department, Chief Wilkeny.
Our reports are in your packet as well. As you can see, we're up to about 1,500 reports at the end of October. 7 a.m. has become our new time where we're running a lot of calls, which ends up being right at shift change, which ends up putting us out for a while, going to the hospital and coming back, and guys having to come back after their shift and write reports, so that's another additional. I'm gonna need to ask the council to help us pay for the repairs on the ambulance. We lost a motor on ambulance 1261 and it's getting replaced now. We do not have the money in our line items in the repairs to fix it completely. Jen had asked me to ask council for help.
Yeah.
The estimate is, you have the estimate, so.
Yes, we do have the estimate, but there has been some change since our last conversation because other invoices have come in, so you would need to approve an additional appropriation for the whole estimate amount. That line item is depleted with other invoices that have come in.
Is that, it's gotta be a public, notice, just like the other appropriation for overtime?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, it's already getting fixed right now?
We ordered the motor for it, yeah. We can't wait. We could not wait, so.
Now, is there any kind of
So
maintenance
just direct me to
done
include
on
that.
this? I mean,
along
is there
with the
PMs
other.
and stuff?
Every single day.
I didn't know if there was a schedule, you know.
Yes, there is. You don't think I hope you
No, I'm
have
asking.
confidence in a fleet. Yeah, it's good. The oil's changed and serviced and, the equipment inside is maintained as well.
The fuel filters and the fuel system, has it been maintained and have you kept track of the logs on that?
I'm sure there is. I have to look in the image trend system. It's maintained by, the people that work on our ambulances, so.
You need direction from us, Jennifer? for this
Yep, just tell me to include it when I go to advertise the additional appropriation.
And how much is this total?
It's growing.
Because the first one was what, 12,000?
Yeah, the first one was 12,000, I don't recall what the second quote was.
19?
Yeah, it's just under 20,000. I think it was.
No, I thought it was.
That was the second,
33.
that's after, that's the
There was
motor.
3.
For
Yeah.
both, fuel system and long block.
Yeah, I saw two invoices or
One
quotes.
was, yeah,
One was fuel system, and then later came in the engine.
the engine was 19,000 alone.
Totally, yes.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the most recent one.
No, I'm talking about the fuel system and the engine,
Yes,
was totaling 33,000.
yes.
Chief, I'm gonna go straight to it here. That 6.7 Ford Power Stroke diesel is notorious for doing what that ambulance did. if the fuel system is not maintained. So after we replace this engine, which is gonna be stupid expensive, we need to make sure that that is getting done, and if we're not sure that it's getting done, then we may need to make double sure that it's getting done. We need to spend twice as much time as we would normally spend making sure that it's getting done, because it's pretty well-known industry standard that that engine, that is basically the only defect in that engine, is the fuel system. And it's easily resolved or prevented if it's maintained properly.
I'll have to look back in our records, the people that do our yearly, maintenance on them, because we send them out and make sure everything's done.
I've never seen one of them blown up.
The DOT's,
I've never seen one of those blown up before.
And that's got less than 100,000 miles.
I sent Freddie some information I had on some diesel stuff that he was gonna chew on, so, some preventative stuff, you know. I got a truck with the same fuel
our guys,
pump on it, and
I mean, our guys are not mechanics. I mean, they do basic PM on the trucks every day, check everything, oil, different stuff, but, you know, we rely on different companies to do the maintenance on them, so.
yeah.
Maybe we need.
We've even had them serviced by Public Works, so.
Sorry, Chuck?
Maybe you need to check into, you know, for budget service contracts. I mean, we already lost engine in the ladder truck this year, and now ambulance motor. I mean, that's too big.
I mean, I would be in favor of erring on the side of caution and take it to the Ford dealership twice a year and have the fuel system serviced at the Ford dealership. That way it's got the correct dealer manufactured parts, or factory manufactured parts. Make sure that this don't happen, and I'm sure that that's what happened to it.
Yeah,
because that's the only thing that happens to them.
J&M suggested putting a different fuel system on it than.
There's been, I mean, I keep the receipts because there's been class action lawsuits on these injection pumps.
Yeah.
It's like super well known, these things are.
I don't believe that we could have prevented this in any way, shape, or form.
So what do you need from us, Jennifer, while we're on the topic of the appropriation? Do you need something tonight?
Just, you direct me to include it.
Okay, I mean, it has to be done. It's gotta be fixed, so simple direction, you've got it.
And then it'll come before you with the public hearing. So it'll all be noticed properly.
Okay. Anything else, Chief?
Yeah.
We all concur on that, right?
I think I saw some heads.
Yeah.
You counted?
I want you guys to understand that we do the best we can. We're, like I said, we're not mechanics. I'm kind of getting the impression that you feel that we don't have a legitimate maintenance plan. We do. So, I'll be asking the Board of Safety, now that we got one of the paramedics that was next in line to be hired for the fire department, pass the agility test, to approve Anthony Elfman at the next Board of Safety meeting. I already talked to Commissioner Stick to get that on the agenda, and then we'll be asking the council to approve him to start the PERF process at the next meeting. He's currently working part-time for us, covering a full-time shift, as well as our other employee that we just hired, Gagliardi. He's working full-time for us in a part-time position. We're waiting for his PERF paperwork to get back to, but we have so much openings because of the people we lost. And then we just lost another firefighter to Michigan City, Jose, I already lost for words. We lost Jose, and you know, he went to Michigan City, so he's already gone. So we have to cover his shift as well that was left open, so. And then the most recent hire, he'll be starting here pretty soon, Danny Mizak, that was approved. He'll be in the same boat until PERF switches over his paperwork, but that paperwork should happen fairly quickly because he's just a transfer from one department to the other. He's not going through the whole brand-new PERF process, okay? So we're getting there. We're still gonna be short a couple people to get us to the 16, but as we get applications, we'll be interviewing them and getting them as quick as possible.
Very good.
Mr. President, I do have a question for Chief Wilkening. On training, you know, basically in light of our situation with overtime at the moment, till the end of the year, on the training that happens, is there like required training, mandatory training?
Yeah, typically there is year-end stuff that they have to finish before the end of the year. The training will completely slow down now, from now until January, well, now until...
Because if there was anything that wasn't a mandatory type training, I'd like almost to see any type of training that's not mandatory be stopped, just to try to not incur any more overtime due to any type of training.
I think all of the mandatory training has filtered out.
Okay.
And is pretty much done. But you gotta remember, when we lose people, then we gotta send people through training. You know, new people that come here. The new guy has to do a training.
Well, yeah,
and he has to also he has to get, you know, tested into the system, which is, you know, more training to do that. And somebody's gotta cover his shift, you know, there's more to this, you know. I understand the overtime is really, really high, but we've lost so many people again this year, and we're working people in part-time, or out of the part-time budget in the full-time position, to where if you look at our full-time line item, it's under, and our part-time and overtime is over. Well, that's because what I just explained to you was, while we're waiting for people to get through PERF, and while we got openings from full-time people leaving, we have to be able to cover their shifts.
Yeah.
Until we get staffing up to at least 6 per shift.
I guess I was just trying to understand any type of mandatory training versus just regular, you know, regular type training, that if anything like that could be stopped to try to help.
We just had some mandatory training with the confidence trailer.
Yeah.
That was sent up here to the from the state of Indiana, for all of our people to go through the confidence training. All of our line people have to, you know, go through that every year. And it's just a formality, but we do it every single year, you know, to keep our guys sharp.
Yeah.
And, you know, we keep talking about the overtime, we keep talking about the overtime, and keep hammering on me about the overtime. And there's really no way to fix it other unless we hire people. And then we can run short. I've had this conversation with you, Chuck, a million times.
Right. Well, just for instance, the open house. How many people we had working overtime? Setting up the open house and working the open house. You're paying overtime for that. That's stuff you shouldn't be working overtime. You already know we're tight. And then you're working...
Okay, just tell me you don't...
Well, you had the volunteers before doing it before, right?
Excuse me?
You had volunteers working stuff before.
Yeah, I had 4 volunteers. Ask them
well, I'm saying,
to help.
But, okay, so why would... Okay, but you're paying time and a half to work it.
So tell me you don't want us to have an open house, and we won't.
It just seems like we tell you we're tight on money with the overtime, and then you just keep doing it.
You just don't understand, do you, how it works? I mean, that's the problem.
And Todd, you understand, Chief, we don't print money here. We can't print money.
Chuck, I wish I didn't have to work our guys overtime. They don't want to work it. But the town policy says we will staff that fire department with 4 people all the time.
Well, you got more than 4, don't you? You have 5 half the time.
A lot of the time we have 5, yeah, because we are approved to have 5 per shift. One's a part-time position. At 4 people per shift, we are leaving the department and the town very unprotected. That 5th person's very important. Instead of having public debates about it, why don't we sit down and have a conversation and come down and let us show you exactly what's going on and how it works. I keep sending you guys updates and updates and updates on why the overtime is high, but I don't get a response from some of you, so I don't even know if you're looking at it. I'm trying the best I can, Chuck, our whole staff is.
Well,
we are short
for the training part. The training, we asked you for training to cut back on the overtime for training, especially people coming on their off days to train.
Okay, so when we have a training session, typically takes 6, 8, 10, 12 guys to do a decent training, so we don't kill somebody. Okay, so people come back for training to help and get more training. We need a well-trained fire department simply because we are losing so many people and we get new people all the time. If we don't keep up with their training, you're gonna be going to a line of duty down.
Chief?
We are. We are gonna have that happen. And we have to maintain a high level of training. That's all we can do.
Chief, I think
Yes, sir.
all you're being asked to do is be mindful of the budget and the costs to keep, and I guess that's at the end of the day, rather than to have this, all this back and forth, is to be more mindful of spending and the budget as much as you can.
Greg, I am.
Yeah, and I mean,
If you go back and look at our budget this year, we spent most of our budget on fixing things. You don't see anything brand new down there.
I guess my question was just as far as, you know, mandatory versus just regular type training, you know, that's all I was wondering.
I agree, people are passionate about this from all aspects, but I think we need to get together with the fire department.
Yeah, this is more of a conversation
Yes.
for Board of Safety or an exec session, Board of Safety.
I can't keep
For
going
that.
to these public
Yes.
meetings where I'm being drilled in public. It's not professional.
I'm only gonna ask you one more thing in
Yeah.
public.
And I would rather have a discussion behind closed doors so we can try to figure
Well,
something
I
out
agree.
instead of doing this publicly.
Chief, we're gonna get there. I'm gonna ask you one more thing though, because I wanna know
Yes,
tonight.
sir.
You got another ambulance with a 6.7 Ford Power Stroke?
I don't remember what the brand new one is. Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Get it in.
Or I should say brand new one.
Please
Yeah.
get it in and get the fuel system serviced.
Mhm.
Get the
We'll get
filters
service.
changed.
We'll get
Because
service first of the year.
the last thing I wanna see in a month or 6 weeks or 2 months is another blown up 6.7 Ford diesel.
Yes, sir. We'll do that. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'll talk to Chief Monitor. He handles the maintenance, so we'll make sure we get it in. He's on vacation, so he'll be back tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
I apologize for the, or going back, but I mean, it's tough, it's hard. I do have one more thing, is there any possible way, can I have the floor for just one more minute?
Yeah, absolutely.
The sensitivity of the conversation about Southcom, ever since I brought up the conversation publicly about asking the council to look at county and Southcom, I've received many, basic rhetoric on social media. I've had, people come to me and tell me that they are going to inform council people to fire me because I have a personal agenda. I've had people tell me that things are gonna be sent to my house, if I don't stop talking about it, and they're constantly talking to certain council people, and, these council people are going to target me for bringing up, us changing from Southcom to Central.
Chief?
My intention was only to, we have worked well with Southcom, and I don't have issues with the operations of Southcom. I just want to go on record to say that. But when I saw the cost of Southcom going up expeditiously, I had, as a fire chief, had to ask the question, when I'm sitting here asking for more personnel and the police department needs more personnel, could there be another way to look at Central and save some money? That's all I'm asking this council to do, was to look at both centers and meet with both centers. If you as a council decide that we are staying with Southcom, that's the end of it for me. There's nothing I can do about it. You are the boss. But when there's money on the table that could be spent on that, when we could go to Central, I had to at least bring it up. When our consultant told us we should consider that, is when I started thinking about it. So in the meantime, I've been getting threatened. I've been getting people calling me and telling me they've heard people talking about, you know.
Chief, can I stop you right there?
You can do that. I'm tired of talking about it, Greg.
And I apologize.
No problem.
You know, I have a grandson 1 year old. My grandpa used to tell me when I was a kid, and I sometimes fall into this trap. He used to tell me when I was a kid, there's nothing worse than arguing with a fool. I'm gonna tell my grandson that there's nothing worse than arguing with a fool, and it's even worse to argue with one on the internet. So the social media age and all the rumors that fly around this town and the utter stupidity that I hear on a daily basis repeatedly, whether it's email, text messages, based on rumors and innuendo. This town council could and should work together better, and we're working on things, but for the love of God, it is so difficult to get anything done with all the chatter that goes on for nothing.
I mean, let alone just trying to get meetings scheduled. We did have a tentative meeting scheduled with Southcom for the 13th, that fell apart. Next one, the 25th, I'm just looking at my emails. Not sure if we have that set yet.
Right, I was gonna ask, are we having one the 25th?
I just wanna finish it by saying this. I don't care about social media. I don't.
It's just.
But when it affects my wife.
I understand,
Okay,
but it's just another venue.
It's something she heard in Leo's. When one of the people that worked at Leo's said, your husband's not gonna be employed much longer because council people because I'm challenging Southcom. That's enough.
Well, this is all turned into a mess. You probably have people over at Southcom that are afraid that they're not gonna be employed any longer because
Absolutely.
obviously,
And it's Southcom that are putting stuff on Facebook.
we got the meeting, I think it's scheduled for the 25th.
I believe so.
So.
I just want you to know that I don't have an operational problem with Southcom. We've worked very, very hard to make it work, and it works. It does. But when I, as a fire chief, saw the money that we were gonna get charged, I had to actually at least ask.
Yeah, that's valid, and just so you know, it didn't fall on deaf ears, you know, we're having this meeting with Southcom because they've been our partners for so long, we can't exactly not talk to them first. We wanna see how their staffing is, their overtime, how things are running before we make any other moves, but we have not, you know, forgotten about it. Like you said, this meeting is scheduled the 25th.
And I'm not asking you to do anything but to look at both centers. And like I just said, if you come back and say, Southcom is where we're staying, chief, we're done with it, okay? You can tell me that right now, and I will leave it all alone, because you're the boss, I'm not. But because I brought it up, or it was brought up by our consultant to begin with, and had conversation with him, was, you know, there's some money there that could be considered if we switch. It's been just nothing but for 2-3 straight months, nothing but. And I hadn't even told you guys any of this stuff until tonight. I just want you to know where my position is, that I don't have a problem with Southcom. I just had a problem with how much we're spending, that's all.
That's all. We're gonna make a decision based on what's best this year for an increase, or potentially next year for an increase. There's a whole lot of things other than money that go into making a decision like that. And I hope that everybody agrees with what I just said, because that's how the decision needs to get made. With a cool head, with facts, and without opinions.
I agree 100%, just, all I was asking for the council to do is look at both centers and sit down with both. That's it, because of the cost, that's it. Nothing negative about Southcom. We've been doing really well with them, and we've got a lot of things worked out over the past almost 10 years. So.
We're working on it, chief. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it, thank you.
You're welcome. Number 8, Parks Department, Miss Ray. Hello.
I'm gonna talk about something fun, because I'm the Parks Department. We are, planning and crazy with Taylor Ice Fest, getting ready to come around the corner for us. December 6th and 7th is our 2-day, second event of Taylor Ice Fest. So as you guys noticed, we have things happening bigger and better this year, and we have a 25-foot Christmas tree in front of this town hall for our tree lighting ceremony due to a nice donation from Laura's Christmas Tree Farm. So the motto here for Taylor Ice Fest is do better than we did last year, the second-year event. And it is a shuttle-only event, and I need the community to know that we only will have certain limited accessible spots here on site, but the shuttles will be running from Faith Church and Lemon Lake County Park for the duration of the event. So Taylor Ice Fest, that's pretty fun news, that we get to bring something like this to the community. And then the master plan for the Parks 5-year master plan draft went to the DNR, downstate, to Indiana DNR, as of November 15th. So we'll be expecting notes and review in February on that. So we're getting close to hitting that milestone, which is a big goal of a 5-year master plan for this newly incepted Parks Department. That's what I have for you guys.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. We'll move on to written communication, building department report. Mr. Manager, are you taking this one?
I haven't had a chance to see it.
No, okay.
Tim's got a...
Tim, do you have anything to report? I know we got...
I know we've passed 1,100 permits for the year. Yeah, so we're in the 1,100s for permits for this year.
Thanks for that report, whoever sent that building permit, because
That's nice.
we're looking at some of that.
That's from Shop.
Yeah. That's good information.
Yeah, there's a lot of it there, so, but it's been busy.
All right.
To say the least.
Thank you, Tim. Christopher B. Burke report.
Okay, as all of you have in your packets, Christopher B. Burke, sent us a engineering report, for today's meeting, dated the 14th. A couple of the highlights are, in a notification from NERC, the notice of funding availability at NOFA for 2026 through 30 TIP. We'll have $108.4 million for infrastructure and transit projects. We did put in a project for that money. 36 million of the 108 will be available for roadway and infrastructure projects. The remainder will be transit-oriented. As noted, surface transportation block grant STBG funding will be limited and very competitive in this TIP. STBG is largely used for infrastructure and roadways. 2 new urbanized areas were created in Belleville and the Winfield/Lake Four Seasons area, which further decreased funds within the current UZA. We did get in for a Pickerel Creek culvert replacement on 147th Avenue, which is applied for under the Protect funds, for an estimated cost of engineering and right-of-way of $824,320, and then a sidewalk project from Faith Church to Robin's Nest, which is STBG money, and it's part of the Complete Streets applications. Based on the November 12th NERC Transportation Committee meeting, the Pickerel Creek application was the only environmental application received, and the 133rd Avenue sidewalk project was one of only 4 complete street applications received. So with those kinds of money and competition and seeing what kind of staging we can get with those are sounding pretty positive.
And both of those are an 80-20 match.
And those are both, I believe, 80-20 matches. Yes, Bob, that's correct. The other thing that, as was brought up in the agenda, other funding opportunities, community crossing grant for 24-2. Phase 2 of the subdivision project was submitted for CCMG in July. The town was notified on December 7th that we will be awarded the full request for the 50/50 match of $791,789. This project will go
69 cents.
and 69 cents. This project will go out to bid in January 2025 with estimated construction hopefully as early spring. So, those are the couple big highlights. The Shades project, town streets. With that final pay request, which also came in tonight, the project will be about plus or minus $12,000 under the awarded contract value. And that was about it that showed any kind of major movement in the last 30 days.
And I already talked about the water utility earlier.
Thank you, Mr. Bungie.
Mr. President, I do have one question to add. It kind of pertains to utility board, item 3, as far as current water capacity needs planning discussion. Are we gonna wanna start seeing Christopher Burke at the utility board meetings? I know we have Neil here, but if we're utilizing, the discussion we've had, I think it's necessary.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I agree.
We'll have him, come into that second meeting in December, starting then, or a representative from his firm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody agrees with that?
Yes.
Good idea.
Thank you.
They have a representative in Indianapolis who's knowledgeable. Can he connect on Zoom?
Would he be,
Baldwin?
is it Kevin?
Kevin, yeah.
I think Kevin's out of Rosemont, isn't he?
Oh, yes, I
Yeah.
thought he said he was from Indy.
Yeah.
Down there.
But having him come would probably cost us more money.
Yeah, it would, except if you use that.
Well, even if it were to be on Zoom or whatever, well, still regardless, yeah. But I feel that it's, with our current situation with water, I think we need him here.
I think Don could answer the questions.
Could you get in contact with Don, please? Yeah. Arrange that going forward?
Sure.
And Don may say Kevin, because that's who we've had a lot of discussions with.
Yeah. Yep, very good. Anything else, Mr. Teal?
That is all, thank you.
Thank you. We will open the floor up for public comment for the town council. Public comment, going twice.
One.
Neil Brand, 014 West 139th Place. I was just wondering, this Pickerel Creek and on 147, what about is that, right?
Just the south end of the lake, right?
You know
where the little culvert bridge is, where Coffins used to be? It goes back into the marsh, right there next to,
I wondered if it was into the marsh.
right next to Mr. Lutton's property.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Angie Michaelajczyk, 12806 Lee Court. There's just a couple of things I wanted to ask. When I was coming in here, somebody said not to be a troublemaker, so kind of embarrassed about that. But at any rate, I was asking if the Parks Department won't put a Taylor Fest sign in the middle of the roundabout, because there's a lot of stuff going on with the roundabout right now. And as it is, it's pretty bad. Last year they put I don't know how tall the sign was. It was 4 feet tall, 8 feet wide, and there were 4 of them. You couldn't see the car. So that was a request that I would want to know if they don't put any signage, especially with...
Signage is out. There's none in the roundabout.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and at futures too, because maybe not the Parks Department, but it's getting pretty hairy over there with all the building, the NIPSCO, and all that. That was another question I wanted to know. Is anybody notified of what's going on over there with NIPSCO?
No.
Nope.
Not with NIPSCO.
They do what they want when they want.
They just do what they want whenever they want?
Oh, that's railroad.
Okay.
They built a substation over there, and we didn't even know about it.
Didn't even know
I guess
about
they got superpowers over us.
All right, and then there were just 2 other things. I can't remember the exact details, but Don Oliphant had this really nice meeting about, I think it was like 6 or 8 different problem areas on the streets. Do you all remember that meeting that he had?
Yeah.
Whatever became of that? Because it was
the safety analysis, I believe,
yeah, it
meeting?
was real nice,
The hotspots,
yeah.
they're there for our reference for, future funding opportunities.
Okay, 'cause I know about this grant with the sidewalks or whatever you guys had today, and I just wanted to know if they're still working on those problem areas, because that was a very good meeting, I thought. I was very happy with that.
Those are most important imperative to have for, probably construction projects that may kick off as early as next year.
Okay, very good. And then the one last thing is, since I've lived here in Cedar Lake, there's been a stop sign in a tire on a hilltop, and I was wondering if we could get a real stop sign there. It's knocked over a couple of times.
The reason why it's in the tires is it kept getting knocked over, and probably just ran over.
Now that house is gone, I think we can probably address that problem.
All right.
Now we can move it a little bit further back
Yeah,
off of the.
and then somebody can hit it there, right?
Well,
Okay, that was it.
At
Thank
least you can
you.
get it over.
Part of our problem there is we don't own enough property.
Right.
That's why when the Gould family lived there, they allowed us to mount that stop sign to that steel post they had there.
Yeah, well, now the house is gone, so we can budget in a little bit.
Well, people that aren't familiar with the area, you know, you want to make sure they stop, and that's really what it is.
It's
Sometimes
really
it gets-
dangerous if there's no
Sometimes
stop
it
sign.
gets turned, you know, where it's silver and you know, you don't see it. So that was it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Jerry Connor, 10330 Paramount Way here in Cedar Lake. I've got a couple things. As far as the Southcom situation and that, I mean, I'm kind of along with what Chief Wilkins said. I have no problem with Southcom as a dispatch center, not at all. It's the tax, it's the money, and as a taxpayer, I think it's, you know, we talked about things being foolish. That's a lot of money, and from the comments that were made tonight, it sure doesn't sound like it's gonna change.
I wouldn't come to that conclusion. I mean, we all agreed that we were gonna have these meetings and then make a determination, but.
Right, but when it's made that, you know, we gotta be concerned about Sherrville and stuff, I mean, do they wanna pay our $400,000, you know what I mean? I mean, that's a lot of money that we could use.
Mr. Connor, I'm sure you're not acclimated with the history around here, but Sherrville carried us, Mr. Rush, am I wrong, for a number of years, and absolutely, yes, we
I
should be
do know
concerned about
that,
Sherrville.
I've got copies of the original agreement.
So, after they carried us all these years, we're supposed to just,
When you're looking at almost $400,000 difference?
I don't know that that's.
Incorrect numbers.
I don't know that that's.
Absolutely incorrect numbers.
All right.
And I don't wanna argue with you about it.
Can I talk to them? I mean,
Sure, absolutely.
Last time I was here, I got talked over by 5 of you, okay? I mean, this is public comment, this should be my time, correct?
Absolutely, say whatever you want.
Be respectful, okay? All right, when you had your budget hearing several months ago, the cost in the budget, 2 different line items, are $525,000 for Southcom. That's a fact. You can go back and look. And what we're looking at is...
Budgeted, not cost.
Yes, if I may, just to kind of clarify, yes, you're correct. That is what we budgeted because that is our best estimate. But it's not necessarily what will be spent. Once we pay this final month's bill, then we'll look at what we paid this month.
$100,000 for this coming year?
It's what we budgeted, but again, it's not necessarily what will be expended because Southcom always does a true-up, and they give us reports in January, so we know whether or not there's any, if there were any capital payments or any other increases for equipment that we needed to pay for, that we owe a portion of, or, you know, any other costs to maintain that facility. And then we'll also know in January what the new cost is per month moving forward. Similar with Lowell and the wastewater township facility, they do a true-up, and then our monthly estimated cost changes.
Okay, but I mean, I know a couple of meetings ago, a couple of months ago, I asked how much we're paying, so what did we pay Southcom last year?
Call me tomorrow and I'll get that number to you.
Okay, I will, yeah, that's a question I asked before about that too. So. And the second thing is, kind of in line with what Chief Wilkins said about social media and stuff, and rumors and talk and everything else. I've been accused of being his puppet. I don't know if you're saying what he wants people to say, and I resent that wholeheartedly. I'm up here as a taxpayer in this community, and when I talk about the fire department staffing or whatever, I'm basing that on my experience, okay? But I'm nobody's puppet. And I've heard that from several people, that that's being tossed around and stuff, and that is totally inaccurate. I mean, do I know Chief Wilkins? Absolutely. Am I a friend of his? 100%, okay? But I've been in the fire service for many years, and there's not many people in the fire service in Northwest Indiana or Northeastern Illinois that don't know that man, okay? And I don't apologize for any of that, but I'm here on my own, so just to make that public and clear, I'm here, I'm speaking for myself, all right? So, all right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
It's getting late, I'm trying to make it quick. Well, not too quick.
Good evening.
Jeff Beal, 10240 West 134th Avenue. There's a couple things that have really come to my attention that have just, I can't believe it's happening around here. At the Planning Commission meeting on October 16th, 2024, during the public comment, Commissioner Parker totally lost it. Terry Broadhurst, he was asking some questions. Mr. Parker stood up, pounded the desk, and was screaming at him, literally screaming at him. It was back and forth. Chairman Capura was also raising his voice, telling him, sit down, sit down. This type of behavior should not be tolerated. It was an embarrassment to the residents of Cedar Lake and the town council. As a town council, you were elected by the residents to make decisions and watch over all boards and commissions that help keep Cedar Lake moving forward. I'm asking you to suspend Mr. Parker from any board or commission he's a member of. His actions did not follow the guidelines of stable and transparent government, and as we are striving for. As a community, we deserve better. And I also, as a position I hold in Cedar Lake Town, I'm the Cedar Lake Hanover Township Democratic Chairman for the town of Cedar Lake. And as that position, we have to stock the workers for the different elections when we have a general election about. We have to get the inspectors, the judge, and the clerks, and then we have to pick up all the equipment and get everything set up. So these people work very hard, and they get paid, but they don't get paid enough for what they do. And as last 4 years ago when Donald Trump lost his election, there was a lot of harassment of poll workers, and there was several laws that were put into effect this year, over these years, that protect the workers. There was a situation on election day, this past November 5th, a Cedar Lake police officer was conducting himself unbecoming of a Cedar Lake police officer.
Here we go again.
Pardon me?
Just saying, here we go again.
What's that supposed to mean?
Go ahead, Mr. Beal.
The Cedar Lake police officer at a polling location in Cedar Lake. The outburst was witnessed by over 50 people, and I'm just curious, has the police chief or the police commission done anything about this situation? Has it been addressed?
That's a personnel issue that we cannot discuss publicly.
All right, well, I mean, it's just, we've got to make sure that this...
Yeah, and then there's also guidelines that we all have to follow, and as far as personnel, that is one of them.
Well, because there are laws governing it, and you can be brought to court on some of these things here. And once again, we deserve better. We don't need this kind of stuff. And Mr. Parker, your comments, a little under the breath, you don't need to do that.
Mr. Beal, I've addressed my behavior at that meeting.
You've made a very short apology. The last thing you said, you apologized to the public.
You called me out now. Can I respond, please?
Sure.
I addressed my behavior at that meeting. The gentleman was out of line the whole meeting. He was trying to rearrange an agenda for a public hearing to the point where he upset the Plan Commission president to the point that I thought he was having a medical emergency. And then he doubled down. Now, I'm not here I don't come into these meetings to lose my mind, lose my temper, or anything.
But you did.
I'm here, I understand. I'm here to do the work, and I don't like it when people try to interfere with getting the work done when they don't know what they're talking about.
That's what public comments is.
Particularly, Mr. Beal, I'm not finished. Particularly when that person is a resident from Orland Park, Illinois. As far as I'm concerned, no one here in this community has affected the health, welfare, safety, or financial conditions of Orland Park, Illinois. So there's nothing to get that bent out of shape about. Now, I'm working on it. I'm working on myself, and I'm working on a number of things, and so is this council. But this nonsense has to stop, or we're never gonna get anything done. Do you wanna get something done?
Well, that would be great.
I think it'd be great too.
But still, you cannot do what you did and not suffer any consequence.
Mr. Beal, I lost my temper.
Mr. Parker, if I may add something really quick. Mr. Beal, there's I believe it's still posted outside the door as far as decorum inside this room, and that goes for the public as well when it comes to public comment. And if a plan commission president or any other board or commission president asks somebody to stop talking, let's say after the 3 minutes, or if things are happening out of order and it is not being held, who then is at fault?
Mr. Kapoor asked for a police officer, he didn't get it. I regret not getting a police officer for him, because that's what should have happened. He gavelled the gentleman, he told the gentleman to sit down and be quiet, he was ignored. It is his job to control that meeting. It's his job. And then things, if that happens, Mr. Beal, then things don't get accelerated to that level. Am I happy with my behavior that night? Absolutely not. But I'm only human, tend to be a little bit of a hothead. I try to get through what I gotta get through around here, but I'm here to do the work. I'm not here to play games, political games, harassment, intimidation, anything like that. I'm here to do the work. Are we gonna do some work?
I agree with 100%, but still you cannot act the way you did without being reprimanded, even a slap on the hand. Something has gotta be done. I mean, I don't hear anybody else stand up here. I don't see Julie stand up and slamming her fist down and screaming at people because she doesn't agree with something on public comment.
I did yell back at Terry, but he started.
I've had my moments.
The gentleman has done it repeatedly. It has to
But
stop.
it's public comment.
We've had discussion about this public comment situation.
It wasn't public comment.
We've had discussion, the council's had discussion about it, and Rich, I'll let you explain what's going to happen going forward. Actually, you're getting a little bit of latitude tonight.
And that's the thing, we need to all learn, council, boards, commissions, public as well, it is public comment. And are we at fault, as a council for allowing too much dialogue? Absolutely. That's kind of a negative effect of trying to be inclusive, transparent, everything. Every response up there does not, warrant the answer at this time. And I believe we're all guilty of it at some time. We've had a lot of dialogue since then, not as a group, but individually on, how we're supposed to conduct ourselves. And like Greg said, we're all at fault, we're all guilty of it at some point, and we all need to improve on it, the public as well.
Okay, but just, for my concerns, I agree with whatever you're saying here about the police officer. You said it's a personal matter, but it should be addressed, because this poor girl, she was traumatized after this.
And we are fully aware of the situation, as well as the Board of Elections and Registrations. As far as that, it's not a council decision at this moment, or, there's policies in place, and that's what I can say to it.
Okay.
He's correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Beal.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Hello.
There's been a few statements made, there's been a few statements made about me tonight, and of course, I'd like to thank Mr. Beal for considering my my feelings of what actually did take place that night.
Terry, I don't mean to interrupt, but we are gonna need a name and address for the record, please.
And so I would like to start with saying that, I would like to apologize for the last time I was forced to give a name and address. I would like to apologize right off the bat to this board, to the planning commission board where it took place, because I was caught off guard. I was completely caught off guard. I just need to finish this statement, and then I will give you an address.
Can you please, before you speak, Terry, that's just part of the rules.
I'm homeless, Nick. I'm homeless and I have no address. You will not find my name on a single house. Excuse me. 3 years ago, I sold everything I owned in hopes to create a new future and a new place, and I chose this place. I bought the land that I bought it out of pocket. I don't owe any money on it, and I had big dreams. And every one of them was shot down, and this is not anything to do with house.
For the record.
I'm sorry, Nick, you're right. I understand.
Please.
I am homeless. I have no address.
Your name?
I have an address on my license.
Your name, please? Your
I
name?
already gave you that. Jim Broadhurst.
Okay.
2123 Arthur Avenue, Lockport, Illinois. That's on my license.
Thank you, sir.
Until I turn my birthday in February, it will not be changed. But unfortunately, I found out that night as I'm driving home, and I called my wife, and she's crying. We're homeless. Effing paper, we're homeless. And that hurts. That hurt bad that night, because out of reaction, I gave my old address. That's my son's home now. My son's third generation on that property now, and we're very proud of that. But that's no longer my address, and I have to recant that. And in fact, there's some information that I'd like to bring to the board from the state of Indiana. I didn't plan on this. I didn't even plan on speaking tonight. But now I feel like I have to justify what I do, because I did nothing wrong that night. There was a comment made by the petitioner and a public hearing that was still left open, and I still say that you cannot find a gavel on that public hearing anyway. So when he got to speak, I felt I should be able to comment on the speak. And in fact, in legalese, I should have been able to speak based on it was opened back up. He didn't ask to speak. John asked him, and did he have anything to add? He got up, he said a few words. So then I stood up in the back to present myself at the podium and got screamed at. That was the first interruption. Now, I did talk back saying this public comment was still open, I should have the right to speak. Now, you can go back, Nick, and I'm sure you've probably seen it.
He was here.
I was here.
So, the facts are facts. I'm trying to protect my rights too, right? I should have the right to speak on something, regardless of whether or not everybody agrees upon it or wants to hear it because it doesn't fit their train of thought. But everything I had plans to say that night, me and Greg sat in my parking lot on my property at 14513 that morning, and I told him everything I was going to talk about how these storage units don't pay sales tax. Not a single sales tax dollars gets committed to this town on any storage unit we rent. All the things that we gave up on that one thing, I just couldn't understand, and I kept asking those questions, and it seemed like the more questions I asked on that one thing, it seemed like it just started a fire. And I didn't start that fire. I'm asking simple questions about public safety and why are we giving up so much on what we're owed as a town, as the residents, as the public safety, as the fire, as all these things that come into play when you're passing these types of things, right? I should have the right to say these things without interruption. And I was interrupted that night. The second I got up here, I was interrupted. Now, I had no impressions in talking tonight. I have to apologize. I do. Because I'm completely taken off guard. It states I do have something from the state of Indiana, and this comes from, this is Indiana Code Section 5-14-1.5-4B. Minutes or memoranda must be kept, including the following items. Date, time, and place to the meeting. The members of the governing body recorded the earlier present or absent. The general substance of all matters proposed, discussed, or decided, a record of all votes taken in individual members, if there is a roll call. Any additional information required under section 3.5 or 3.6 of the chapter of any other statute that authorizes the governing body to conduct a meeting using electronic means of communication. Now, nowhere in those things does it state that I need to give my address. That's one. Secondly, I would like to ask the board if I could restrict the address I gave in that planning commission, because it is not my address. It was false. It's no longer my address, and I don't want that address. I don't want the baggage to be falling on my family, my son and his family. So I would like that address from Orland Park stricken from the record. Now, you do have the right to disagree, but I would think that in this situation of a person who's been here for 3 years, paying his taxes, paid a water bill for 3 years on time every month. I eat in every restaurant in town almost 3 times a week. I buy my gas here in town. I volunteer in multiple places in town. In fact, I'm pretty active in town. So when you talk about residents, I don't know what that means anymore. Because I believe I am a resident of Cedar Lake. And for me to have to stand up here and defend myself over trying to help this town not make mistakes that I've seen where I'm coming from make,
Mr. Brown?
that hurts. That hurts.
Okay.
That hurts. I know I have 3 minutes, Ned.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Recupero, I'm sorry.
I just want to say, there's going to be disagreements here, okay? And you might not be able to be reconciled, but I don't think anybody, and this is not directed towards you or anybody in particular, but there's a time and a place for public comment, and you need to be, not you, people need to be respectful of whoever's got the microphone. And I don't think we're going to tolerate any of these outbursts anymore from this side or that side, anything.
And I appreciate that, sir. And in my defense, I would like to go back to saying, have I had words up here? Have I gotten loud? On many occasions. Never do I come back with anger the next time, or do I take it out that door with me. What happens at this dais and on that dais, I always just figure is business. We're trying to build a town. Now, I may not be an elected official, but I do have a lot of good information. Some of you guys have heard it. In fact, some of it's even been implemented into some decisions. I'm not going to sit here and toot my own horn, because that's not why I'm here. I agree with Mr. Beal that when you have a town, when you're trying to grow a town as fast and as professionally as this town has grown in the last 10, 15 years, then there should be repercussions on the way people act, myself included. But reaction versus action are two different things entirely. Now, have I provoked people to be mad at me with questions? No doubt. No doubt. A lot of people hate hearing things that maybe they didn't think of, or maybe they just don't want the public to hear about because they can't change it. I don't know the reason, but I know that when you do get things out in the open and on public record, it does change the direction of things. It does. It does change the way people think. Then when they know people are looking back at them and wondering how they made their decisions, well, maybe they'll think a little more thoroughly on their decision.
Can I ask you a question right quick?
Greg, as long as you don't yell at me, sir, yes.
I'm not gonna yell at you. The Thursday morning, after that meeting, I asked you for your...
I came and took pictures of your house because you were doing unpermitted work, and I was mad.
Terry, please, ask me a question.
He asked me a question.
So, it's okay for you to come and intimidate me at my home?
Was not intimidating you, sir. You were doing unpermitted work as a town council member.
If I was at your house taking pictures the next morning...
You have every right to stand on the street and take a picture of my house by law, yes, sir, you do.
Would you have been concerned about that?
I would probably be upset, yes, but guess what? I'm not doing unpermitted work as a town council member. Do you understand that? Do you understand we elected you to enforce the rules? We elected you to set an example to the people who don't follow them, to say you're a town council member, and if I gotta follow them, you gotta follow them.
I think it's very clear. It's becoming very clear.
That you don't care about the town of Cedar Lake. Thank you, sir.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Ms. Hammer, do you have anybody online?
No hands are raised.
Mr. Austin, that make any sense to you?
That was public comment. It was a little elongated, but it was public comment.
Thank you.
Okay. Public comments now closed. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024, at 7 PM. This meeting is adjourned at 9:47 PM.